Good afternoon, each and everyone. Welcome all my colleagues. I welcome Dr. Tripti, Dr. Vinita. Good afternoon, each and everyone. We are waiting for our dignitaries to join and then we'll start.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ranjit. Himanshi, Chirag, and all in my technical team, please look into when our guests, chief guest, and our colleagues from organizing committee member join, put them on as co-hosts so that they can unmute themselves. Yeah, good afternoon, each and everyone. And I'll request all of you to please put your videos on. So can good afternoon and welcome, sir. Professor Bakshi, sir, welcome.
Good afternoon, Bakshi sir, Vimal ma'am, and all the dignitaries.
Yeah, nice to see you all. Welcome to yet another exciting program. I think Tripti cannot unmute herself. Himanshi, please look into the thing. Yeah. And for our...
Yes, ma'am, now I'm able to. Good afternoon, ma'am, and good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, Bakshi sir. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Bakshi sir को भी co-host करना पड़ेगा. Chirag.
He's host, ma'am. He's host.
Good afternoon, Tripti. How are you? Fine?
Very well, sir. Very well, sir. Thank you, sir.
Has Brajesh Pare sir joined? I think yeah, Brajesh Pare sir is also now co-host. And
good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
What about Ashok Prasad sir? He has not yet joined. Just check it out. Principal sir will be joining in between, sir. He is in a very urgent meeting at CBSE. So meanwhile, we'll start the proceedings once. Good afternoon and welcome, sir. Brijesh.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Dr. Vimal and Bakshi, sir. Yeah, Professor Bakshi.
How are
Good
you?
afternoon, sir.
So Ashok Prasad sir is also joining in just 2 minutes. So we'll wait for him and then we'll start. Meanwhile, welcome each and everyone. I can see so many familiar faces and names from our earlier programs. Welcome back again. And this time it is a chemistry and allied disciplines group. So welcome all my dear colleagues on Zoom and YouTube. Today's inaugural event is live and you can share the YouTube link to your colleagues because the registrations we have open till tomorrow afternoon, and the recorded session will be available for them so that they will not be missing anything, and then we will take them further to take it as a really a happening FDP, because this is going to be not just phase 1 but something exciting phase 2, which you have seen in the poster, and I'll be sharing more about this. And regarding the theme, we have so many distinguished personalities, resource persons with us: Professor Ashok Prasad, Professor A.K. Bakshi, Professor Brijesh Pare, and many others. I'll be sharing all the details. Yeah, participants will not be able to mute right now, but yes, after the inaugural and whenever we have time, we will have ample interactions with all of you. Don't worry. And one particular session we have kept where we will take your inputs to even modify the phase 2, which will be hand-holding the school education system in this front. But yes, all my dear colleagues who have joined as participants, they can please put their videos on. That provision is there for all of you. I can see Dr. Arora. Welcome, sir. Good afternoon. And I'll add here special welcome to our school colleagues. There are many school chemistry teachers who have joined. So special welcome to them. And it is, I think, a co-learning which we will understand your problems in this front, and we will also share ours and then try to find some solutions collectively. Ivanshi, you can stop the screen share, Chirag. I think Ashok Prasad sir had joined from machine called as HP. Please make him co-host, Chirag. I can see him. Welcome, Professor Ashok Prasad sir. We are making you co-host so then you will be able
yes,
to.
I am unmuted now. Sorry, I was muted from your side.
Sir, shall we begin? I think the quorum is complete, and my principal, sir, we will be coordinating with him. In between, he will join. He's in a meeting at CBSE. So let me just start the proceedings, and for that, I will just share my screen.
Yes, sure.
So welcome each and everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, namaskar to each and everyone on this another exciting co-learning journey with our chemistry and allied discipline colleagues on safer and greener chemistry labs. Starting today, 19 July 2022, it will be phase 1 will be going till 25th July 2022. The registrations have been extended till tomorrow. So those who are watching on YouTube, please, you can fill up the registration form so that you don't miss this exciting FDP. On this note, I welcome each and everyone with virtual bouquet of flower. On behalf of Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College and University of Delhi, where our premier institution, Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, a center of Ministry of Education, Government of India, is situated. And this center has been established under the Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya Nation Mission on Teachers and Teaching Scheme. I welcome you on behalf of Sardar Talochan Singh Ji, who is the patron, and we are also I want to pay my gratitude to Professor Ved Prakash sir, who is now mentoring, and especially the phase 2, the internship and the mentorship model has been designed under his guidance. From GAD-TLC core team, I welcome Professor A.K. Bakshi, who is the chairman, and actually I am welcoming each one of you on behalf of Professor Bakshi, Professor Jaswinder Singh, and myself. I am Vimal Rar. And I welcome Professor Ashok Prasad sir, who is the Dean, Faculty of Sciences, Head, Department of Chemistry, University of Delhi. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us today. I also welcome Professor Brijesh Pare, President, Association of Chemistry Teachers, India, and especially he is an advocate on the green and sustainable chemistry theme. I also welcome my esteemed pool of resource persons, Professor K.K. Arora, Dr. Preetam Sangwan, Dr. Indu Takkar Sindhwani, Dr. Sushmita Chaudhary, Dr. Sumanta Mandal, Dr. Sharda Pasricha, Dr. Priyanka Thakral, on behalf of myself and my co-coordinator, Professor Sarita Pasi, we have collectively taken this further. And we have again a distinguished organizing committee with us, doing the back end and the hand-holding of all, because this is such a large group, and we are having more in addition here. So we have Dr. Sujan Varghese, Dr. Sonia Ratnani, Dr. Narendrajit Kaur, Dr. Rahul Singhal, Dr. Tripti, Dr. Vinita Kapoor, and a special addition we have Ms. Upma Raijada, PGT teacher from DPS Vasant Kunj. So welcome, most importantly, all my dear colleagues who have joined as participants. So this faculty development program will be for chemistry and allied discipline teachers and approved for CAS of UGC and AICT from higher education. But for school teachers, it will be providing the certificate obviously on successful completion, because we have stringent conditions. And this is open for science and especially the chemistry teachers who are teaching 11th and 12th class under the continuous professional development as envisaged in NEP 2020. So let us all join hands in taking the blessings of the God in this pious occasion. Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center has been established in the honor of Guru Angad Dev Ji, and we are seeking blessings from him, who is the second of the 10 Sikh Gurus. We have state-of-art infrastructure in terms of hands-on training, and that's how this entire scheme was evolved, where we have the expertise in terms of training teachers in some subject areas, as well as overall for all subject teachers in pedagogy and the ICT tools. And around the last 2 years, we have seen how much important the world blended learning and the online learning has become, and how they can be integrated in the face-to-face, which is the blended or the hybrid model. The center was inaugurated on 1st July 2016 by the then Honorable HRD Minister Smriti Zubin Irani ji. And out of this, we have evolved one very important 4-quadrant format open educational resource template, which is Teachers eKit. And this has been modified as per NEP 2020, and more than 2,000 teachers across the country are contributing in different subjects in this. We have also provided input in designing the first ever faculty induction program on behalf of Ministry of Education, and I am thankful to Ministry of Education for giving us this big responsibility in the form of GAD-TLC, as well as giving the opportunity to design the content framework for induction training, which is now mandatory for every new inductee in higher education. If we talk about the statistics, since 31st March 2022, we have now 73,954 data uploaded on the NMTT portal, out of which, if you see how technology has impacted us as well, from 2016 to 20, there were 9,217 participants in more number of events, and from 2020 onwards, in the Corona phase, we have more than 70,000 teachers who have been trained. And around this, in May 2022, Smriti Zubin Irani came again in our college and felicitated the GAD-TLC team. I'm thankful for her continuous support to this team. We also started a journey actually in e-learning front, where e-PG Pathshala project we have completed. And for all my chemistry colleagues, you can use this content of 89 courses, each course having 35 to 40 modules of 4-quadrant approach, available on inflibnet.ac.in. We also have National Resource Center of Chemistry. We are again working with our chemistry colleagues of the entire country as the annual refresher program in teaching the ARPIC program as MOOCs on SWAM platform. And here again, I am happy to share the statistics that out of 42 subjects under the scheme in our entire country, the chemistry course floated by us has been rated in number 1 in not only in terms of quality, but even in terms of enrollment, as you can see the NTA statistics here. So I welcome you on behalf of each and everyone involved, and especially on behalf of Professor Jaswinder Singh, who will be just joining today, and on behalf of my entire governing body at SGTB Khalsa College, University of Delhi, to take this further. Sarita, you're here? Just I think. Okay, let me only continue. So in this, Himanshi, has Professor Sarita joined?
Yes, ma'am, she has joined.
Okay, so I'll request Professor Sarita Pasi to please introduce our distinguished panel. Chief guest, Professor Ashok Prasad sir, guest of honor, Professor Pare, our own mentor and chairman, Professor A.K. Bakshi, and Professor Jaswinder Singh. And meanwhile, let me coordinate with him so that he can join on time. So over to you, Professor Sarita.
Manchu, I can't see the screen. I would like to welcome all our distinguished guests over here. Our chief guest, Professor Ashok Prasad, who's presently the Dean, Faculty of Science, Head Department of Chemistry, University of Delhi. Professor Prasad is a member of several national and international societies and has published over 200 research papers in journals of international and repute, along with 10 patents. He has presented more than 175 researches at different national and international conferences and delivered 75 lectures in universities, institutes, and industries in India, Australia, USA, Denmark, Germany, and many other countries. Presently, Professor Prasad has a research group of 8 PhD students and 5 postdoctoral fellows. And he's handling various research projects, including lateral projects funded by various agencies and also University of Delhi. He has been recipient of visiting professorship at Japan, ACCTI Excellence in Carbohydrate Research Award, ISCB Award for Excellence, ETCR Best Paper Award 2012, visiting associate professorship at SDU Denmark, CSI Young Scientist Award, Denmark, Fellow 1992-96 National Scholarship Award, etc. He has been the guest editor of Biochemistry published by Elsevier, Indian Journal of Chemistry, and Trends in Carbohydrate Research. Next slide, Himanshi. Next, I would like to also welcome our guest of honor, Professor Brajesh Pare, who you've been with us earlier, and I have had the honor of listening to you earlier also. He's the President, Association of Chemistry Teachers, and he's also Professor, Department of Chemistry, Madhav Science, PG College, Ujjain. And he's advocating green and sustainable chemistry. He has a vast teaching experience of more than 35 years and is currently the professor and head, as I already mentioned, of Madhav Science Postgraduate College. He has published more than 80 research papers in various journals of international and national repute and has produced 20 PhDs. He has INSA-nominated affiliate membership of IUPAC, UNESCO. He has organized more than 150 chemistry popularization workshops for students and teachers across India, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Sharjah, Doha, etc. He has been working actively with Royal Australia Chemical Institute and Royal Society of Chemistry, London. He is also the country head for ANCQ, an international Australian chemistry quiz conducted annually by Royal Australian Chemical Institute, Australia. He is a life member of Chemical Research Society of India, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. We welcome you, sir, and would be really happy to hear you. Next, I would like to welcome Professor Bakshi, who would be delivering the keynote address on our FDP Safer and Greener Chemistry Labs, the step towards sustainable development. We are all familiar with Professor Bakshi and have heard him so many times, but each time he comes up with some interesting topics, and this time it's a new topic on sustainable development, very, very pertinent to the FDP that we are holding. Professor Bakshi held the prestigious Sir Shankar Lal Chair of Chemistry in the University of Delhi for more than 2 decades. He's a double gold medalist and PhD of Delhi University. He's the co-author of more than 170 research and education articles, 1 patent, many books and ebooks. He has been felicitated 2 times for distinctive and outstanding contributions to education, including e-transformation of the University of Delhi by the former President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He's a recipient of several awards and academic honors on World Education Award, Haryana Ratan Award, Bharat Jyoti Award, Indian Dietetics Association, Special Award for Excellent Digital Content in Education, National Education Award, Dr. R.D. Desai Award of the Indian Chemical Society, Professor P.K. Bose Memorial Award of the Indian Chemical Society, and many more. He has a distinction of being one of the first persons from the universities in India to have been selected as the member scientist of the 3rd Indian research expedition to Antarctica in 1984. He introduced the add-on course on green chemistry in University of Delhi. These are a few of his achievements. Actually, the profile is much bigger. Next, I would like to welcome Professor Jaswinder Singh, who would be delivering the welcome address. He's the principal SGTB Khalsa College, and all these programs are possible because of his untiring support to the center. He's the director, Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, SGTB Khalsa College, University of Delhi. He has been a co-principal investigator in EPG Pathshala project awarded by the UGC to develop e-content for 16 papers for post-graduation. He has developed 6 massive open online courses in economics hosted on Swayam portal. He is a member of the UGC committee to review the autonomous status of college 2019-2014, member advisory committee UGC nominee 2013 onwards, and Center for Studies in Guru Granth Sahib Guru Nanak Dev University. He is a convener of the UGC committee to draft undergraduate courses for the implementation of choice-based credit system 2015. The member standing committee of Academic Council, University of Delhi for 1994 to 98 to advise and decide the academic hardships of the students regarding admissions and examinations. So, sir, we welcome you here in one of your own programs, and thank you for your untiring support to us always. With this, I think we can begin the program.
Yeah. So I welcome Professor Jaswinder Singh, sir. Please take the welcome address, formal welcome address.
Thank you, Dr. Vimal, for inviting me. Let me, I'm sorry I'm a little late because I was parallelly busy in a CBSE meeting. Let me take this privilege to welcome very eminent personalities here, Professor A.K. Bakshi, the Vice Chancellor of PDM University and our mentor, in fact, in number of ways, not only in designing the programs and training the teachers and leading us from the front, but I think he has been a great emotional support to us. And we know that the considerable work that he has done in his field and also in the teachers training programs, not confined only to University of Delhi, but I think spanning over 2-3 continents. So welcome, sir. Welcome to this very special program for the inauguration. Professor Ashok Prasad, who has been a very, very close friend, and you know, our university is really very privileged to have his you know, maturity and you know, the contributions in the subject. If I look at the contemporary scenario in the University of Delhi, perhaps he is one among the very senior persons who has contributed in his field and also in the development of the University of Delhi. I have not seen any academic meeting, not the academic council, but the academic meeting which is meaningful without his participation. So we personally have benefited very significantly from his contributions. He was member of our governing body also, and he helped us there. Professor Vimal Rar, who is my colleague in Khalsa College, and who is known for her brilliance both in her subject and also, you know, in our outreach programs, especially the teachers trainings and the innovative methods that she has been designing and helping us all in adapting to, you know, the different challenging situations. We know that we started this program of training the teachers much before COVID, and we started training the teachers both in terms of technological tools and also in writing the good content. We created a platform where, you know, the teachers from different disciplines, they interacted and they produced some of the best pieces, in fact, of the academic work, which are available on the UGC website in Flipnet. And Dr. Vimal Rao played a very significant role in that. I'm also grateful to all other dignitaries who are here either, as resource persons and our mentors. And, the very important thing is that a very large number of participants who are participating in this program. We call this to be the faculty development program, but it is not a one-way development. I think we as Khalsa College, or we as teachers in University of Delhi have also benefited in a very, very significant way in terms of developing our personal relations, in terms of improving our own academic understandings in our own disciplines, and also, in sharing the various tools that we may be using in the classrooms. So in that sense, it is all an interactive process. And this program, which is on greener chemistry or green chemistry, is very special because the challenges are many. We want to be the zero carbon nation in the next 30 years by 2050, as the Honorable Prime Minister has given an international commitment that India would be contributing zero carbons to this planet Earth. So in that sense, the chemistry teachers and the chemistry experts, they have much larger role. We know, the experts in this area also helped us when the country faced the food shortages in 60s, and especially in 66 and 67, 1966, 1967 and 68, when the new agriculture technology came. It was technology and, the chemicals revolution, in the sense which transformed the agriculture, gave employment to very large number of people, and also resulted in resolving the food shortages. We never thought that the world will come to such a halt. You can see what is happening in Sri Lanka, primarily because of the food shortages. India is a much diverse, perhaps going to be the most populous country in the world. But I can assure you that there will be no food shortages. And partly, it is the scientists, partly it is the, people who deals with the hybrid varieties, the life sciences, and others who have done considerable research and resolved these issues. So this topic and this area is going to be very, very significant. And I once again welcome you all, especially Professor Bakshi, Professor Prasad, and all colleagues who have come from, who have gathered here from different institutions from all over the nation. Thank you very much. Dr. Sarita Pasi is also there. Welcome, ma'am, for this very special. You have always been helping us. And I also want to thank our backend team, who is not visible, but who are making everything possible in terms of recording, in terms of engaging the experts, reminding the resource persons and everybody. Thank you very much for this.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. It is always a guidance and support that we get from you and our governing body, that we are able to do these events. And you also give insights. I think yesterday we had a very insightful panel discussion by sir, and but here the topic is slightly different, chemistry. But then again, he has talked about the green revolution and how the role of chemicals, which is actually now going into a negative direction. And I think it is responsibility for all of us as chemists to improve on that field. And that's where I think the greener approach is coming. And along with that, while working in the chemistry labs, the safety is also very important aspect. And that is what the two themes we have chosen. So thank you so much, sir, for giving your valuable time in spite of, I know there is an urgent meeting going on, and in between you spare time. Thank you so much, sir.
Here, I would like to add something, Dr. Vimal. I would like to thank you all. It's a pleasure for me. Professor Jaswinder Singh was welcoming me, but I would like to say it's a pleasure for me to be associated with GAD-TLC. It's been such a beautiful journey for me. You and Professor Bakshi are always coming up with such nice, innovative programs. And I have really learned a lot. And for Professor Jaswinder Singh for allowing all this and making this possible. So I'm really thankful to the entire team for making me a part of you. And I have really, really, really grown a lot with GAD-TLC. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you, Sarita. And let's move further now. So this FDP is slightly a different one. How it is different? Because this is also attached as a phase 2, where those who are ready to take this responsibility, and I'm sure the numbers will change as I talk about this, although 50-50% composition is there in terms of those who want to just complete in 1 week and those who want to continue. What I'm talking about is teachers as mentors for student internship. And this is actually one of the model where experiential learning, as has been envisaged in NEP 2020, can be put up in ground level implementation. So this FDP will be acting as a model of experiential learning to help the teachers build 21st century skills and value education among students as envisaged in NEP 2020 and outcome-based education. It will also help institutions to work towards the goal of community outreach as required for NAAC and other accreditations at global level. NEP 2020, we are all aware that even the pedagogy is talking about the experiential part, but then we have to be innovative in that front. Graduate outcomes, if you look, they talk not just about the disciplinary knowledge, but the communication skills, the critical thinking, problem-solving approach, analytical reasoning, research-related skills, cooperation or teamwork, scientific reasoning, reflective thinking, information or digital literacy, self-directed learning, multicultural competence, moral and ethical awareness or reasoning, leadership readiness or leadership qualities, and lifelong learning. I am sure the phase 2 will be inculcating some of these very important outcomes through this activity. And the 21st century skills also in some way we have intentionally integrated and will be highlighting on these as we proceed further. Also, the UGC curriculum framework and credit system for the 4-year undergraduate program for implementing NEP 2020 talks about these so many points which have been weaved in this FDP, followed by the phase 2 of mentorship and internship. What are these? These are talking about environment and sustainability issue, talking about how we can develop our students into mindset where they are looking for sustainable development, knowledge, skills, attitude, values, environmental degradation, climate change, pollution, effective waste management, community engagement and service, and mentoring school students. And I think all these indicators, the points which I have highlighted in red, have been intentionally integrated in this program. So that's how this FDP is a unique program. Safer and greener chemistry lab. We will be talking about safety in terms of material safety data sheets, how the health hazard, fire hazard, specific hazard, instability hazard, the various safety symbols that as teachers and students we have to be aware, how the responsible waste management hierarchy, and we as a team have worked out, let me share, we have been working on this program from almost like 3 months in more active way, and almost like from 1 decade we have been working around these, and this is conclusion of all these things where we have mapped many experiments at UG and school level that what can be reused from one experiment to other, how we can do reduction, reuse, recycle, recover, and least disposable. So that's why if you see the topics which are covered in this particular FDP, they range on these 2 themes, safer and greener, whether it is safety symbols, MSDS, prevention of accidents and some case studies, first aid measures, environment friendly approaches, chemical waste management, greener methods at school level as well as UG level, evolving better practices at institution, both at higher education and school level, sharing of chemistry lab resources to school, rubrics of assessment when we talk about mentorship and internship model, and templates of teachers report in both phase 1 and phase 2 will be given. So there will be continuous hand holding in phase 2, which will be done through the team of resource persons. And we will be having all this digital material available as per their requirement. And I'm thankful to NGO Vidyavani Foundation for announcing awards also. This is only for the phase 2, where the teachers as mentors for working towards community outreach and environment protection, looking at how the ground level work is given, there are awards announced. So phase 1 is in itself a complete individual program as a FDP, but around this theme, and then from that, and we'll be also taking your inputs to even comprehensively design the phase 2 in a better way. So there are 2 phases I can see in this program. The phase 1, which we are starting today, and it is not compulsory that you go into the phase 2, but I appeal you and I request you, because that's where I think the change can be done. So phase 1 is fully online, but the phase 2 is a face-to-face internship that you will be taking after you understand the nuances around the safer and the greener practices. We'll do some auditing of our higher education institution. We'll also go to the schools and try to help them. And the outcomes are, for phase 1, definitely the FDP or the CPD certificate. But for phase 2, there will be certification for successful completion for the teacher on mentorship, and for 5 students as a group who will be working as internship by NGO. So that's how I'm saying it is unique. And I again thank all my resource persons who have been actively coordinating with me, sharing PPTs, working on how this can be really made into a sequence and a meaningful program. I thank each and every one from the bottom of my heart. So this is, we have Professor Arora, Professor Sindwani, Professor Sushmita Chaudhary. I'm saying them professor because they just retired before that phase. Otherwise, the type of work they have done, both from Gargi College, my own teachers, thank you so much for being. We'll have Dr. Preetham Sangwan from DRDO, who will be talking on waste management and how in chemistry labs we can improve that. Dr. Sumanta Mandal, who has also published a paper on this theme. Dr. Sharda Parisricha, my colleague from Venkateshwara College. Dr. Priyanka Thakral, who is now in St. Martin's University, USA, and my dear colleague Sarita Pasi, and myself will be taking some more cases that we have collectively evolved. So phase 1 aims at developing chemistry and allied discipline teachers to implement safer and greener approaches immediately in their chemistry labs. Phase 2 will be having aim to develop teachers as mentors as one angle for student internship, along with implementation of the safer and greener practices in not only their institution, but also in the nearby 5 schools. So that's how it has been planned. It is a collaboration between higher education institutions and school at the rate of chemistry lab, I am saying, in terms of safety, in terms of greener methodology of experiment, in terms of sharing of resources. The product that we prepare in our chemistry lab, can we not collect that and give it to our school colleagues? Many of them are not even having resources to buy chemicals. So we have to be conscious around this. What community outreach? I think we have to start improving our education system. So higher education institution teacher as mentor along with group of 5 students will be now working in collaboration with 5 schools. And those who have joined from school community here, you can be in between and you can help other 5 schools in the same model, and we will be evolving. Some fine tuning will be done for you. The mentorship internship model, the session will be taken by Professor Ved Prakash sir, and we will be taking this in a way where not only in terms of this, but how the rubrics of assessment in terms of when the students are giving project presentation, when they're going into field activity, the group working, we will try to see that how the value education and the outcome-based education can be really integrated in this phase 2 activity. So I'm very sure those who are in phase 1, they will be really keen on shifting and taking the phase 2 further also. And for them, there is also attraction that yes, you can take 10 students if you want to go to phase 2 in that provision, and we'll be talking about those details later. Now, moving further, we have a very distinguished personality, as my colleague has already introduced him to all of us. And although he needs no introduction, so we are very thankful, Professor Ashok Prasad sir, to be with us in this inaugural event of chemistry, where you are heading one of the prestigious institution, which is our university, the university, as head of the chemistry department, and as well as he is the Dean of Faculty of Sciences. So welcome you, sir. And please, we are waiting to hear your words of wisdom. So over to you. You'll have to unmute yourself, sir, please. I think you muted. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much, Professor Bimal, for your kind words. And I must thank Dr. Sarita and principal of the college, Professor Jaswinder Singh, for their kind words. I will first say good afternoon to all of you. Professor A.K. Bakshi, former Vice Chancellor, founder Vice Chancellor of PDM University, Bahadurgarh, and also former Executive Director of Tertiary Education Commission, which is equivalent to our UGC in India, in Mauritius. I had been once, and saw the university and this organization also. It's a wonderful organization. He has been also Vice Chancellor of Rashtriya Tandon Open University, Allahabad, and I got a chance to visit him while he was Vice Chancellor there. Of course, it was late in the evening, and got his nice hospitality there. And above all, being our former head of the Department of Chemistry, and I have always revered his presence in the department as a head and also as a colleague. And then Professor Brijesh Pare, who is President Association of Chemistry Teachers of India, Professor Jaswinder Singh, Principal SGTB Khalsa College, and of course Professor Bimal Rath, the organizer of this faculty development program, and she has just now announced such a wonderful programs for teachers and also for the students, which is also a requirement of our national education policy, which we are trying to implement in our university also through our UGC of 2022 framework, which we have adopted. And of course, Dr. Sarita Pasi and all the mentors, future mentors for the students and all the participants. It is a proud moment for me to be part of this faculty development program. Of course, because of it has its own importance, but this is a program in which I am participating, which has been organized when University of Delhi is celebrating its centenary year, which has started on 1st of May 2022, and it will be a year-long program. So it is really a very special occasion for all of us, and this beautiful program for teachers and students to enrich their professional knowledge. In fact, the title is so nice: Safer and Greener Chemistry Labs. This is a requirement of the time. If we see in last couple of days, newspaper is full of different news, particularly say in Europe, the temperature has gone so high, there is forest fire. If you see in the western part of US, there is a drought. Even in India, the weather pattern or the climatic change, we are really observing it. So this is the this is the time, in fact, to bring this greener in our thoughts, of course, and in the lab. So this topic is very important and very timely, and we have to deliberate upon, and I'm thankful to Professor Bimal Rar to organize this faculty development program. So it can be percolated to the level of the students and the society as a whole. In fact, as a chemist, we have more responsibility, to think safer and greener labs, particularly chemistry labs. Because if, in my opinion, the perception of the society is that chemists, they have created more pollution than others. I mean, we have not forgotten the bigger accidents which has happened even in India and outside in India. The Bhopal gas tragedy, or nuclear leakage in many different countries of the world. So all these are the elements of chemistry and chemistry labs. Therefore, responsibility of thinking safer and greener chemistry labs lies more on us to work on. I will take the simple example of our lab, which we almost ask our students to do experiments in all classes for simple amide making. When they prepare amides in the lab, and they prepare mostly with acid, chloride, and amine. And you know that this is a very dirty process. Even the byproduct HCl gas, generates a lot of pollution in the lab. So these are the very simple things which we are carrying out in our laboratory, chemistry laboratory every day. And therefore, we need to think on this and move forward to make it more safer and greener. Lab safety rules are important so that students do not injure only themselves, but to their fellow colleagues. And therefore, these rules has to be devised for our own labs. A proper knowledge about chemicals and safety measures associated with it to prevent accidents, such measures can be taken up. Just now, Professor Bimal Rar has shown you the different symbols, which is there on the chemical bottles, which indicates, the different characteristics of the chemicals there, as well as materials of safety data sheets. These things slowly we have to introduce in our curriculum and ask our students that they have to, before entering into the lab, they have to see this and they have to understand this so that we prevent accidents in our lab. We should always remember that chemistry lab is a place for a serious accident because we are using a lot of different chemicals. Of course, almost every day in different labs, sodium is used, which we know that how reactive it is. It immediately catches fire when it comes in contact with water. It's not only this, there are many chemicals, which has not even been tested. They are so toxic. So this awareness has to go to the students by such faculty development programs, which is being organized by Professor Bimal. I think it's very important. With this, the other aspects of chemical pollution may be due to release of poisonous gas in the labs, and just now I told you the aspect of doing experiments and many byproducts which comes as a gas. We have not forgotten till a couple of years ago this H2S smell in the lab and even outside. So we have to find out and make SOP that how our lab should look like and how the experiments should be designed and how this message should be passed to the mentors who are mentoring their students. With this safety, greener approach also comes into. They are in fact inseparable. Safety and greener. because when we talk about safety, we tend towards the greener approach. If we reduce the use of HCl and find a substitutes of these highly strong acids, H2SO4 and HCl, it becomes a greener process if we substitute. So this safety and greener, they go side by side when we think about our chemistry labs. And therefore, to reduce this chemicals, or to find out a method which reduce the use of these chemicals, which is hazardous, it makes the process greener. And this is very important to adopt and to find out and to develop such methods and pass it to the students. Green chemistry is about many things. It may be, waste management at the source, or it may be use of catalysts to carry out reactions in a greener way, or in a most efficient way, or it may be using non-toxic reagents or replacing non-toxic reagents, which we are using to the greener reagents, or improve atom economy. That is one of the most important things. We have not still left using acetic anhydride for acetylation, and half of the molecule of acetic anhydride, when we do acetylation, it goes as a waste. So if we can find out, there are many other methods which is very efficient and maintain atom economy when we do acetylation. It's a very simple process. So these things has to be included in our curriculum and slowly passed on to different labs, starting from the center to the different states and to the district levels through such faculty development programs. I told you, and you have already heard about material safety data sheets, and then comes good laboratory practices. This is also very important. Whenever we have a lab, a chemistry lab, it must be audited once in a year or twice a year, so that we should get a record that what we have done in the past 1 year, which we should have not done that, or what new practices we have to adopt, so that this lab auditing is very important. And this comes under good laboratory practices. Along with that, this is the time when we have to tell our students that whatever instruments they are using, these instruments has to be initialized, has to be audited every year that they're functioning well, so that they produce results which is reproducible. Then maintaining records is also very important, and it comes under good laboratory practices, because whatever experiments we do in the lab or our students are doing in the lab, either it is a teaching lab or it is a research lab. This lab recording is a very important thing. This is a habit they learn in the colleges, which they further bring to the research labs and then to the industry. And nowadays, it is a time to protect your inventions. And when anything goes to the patent and any arbitration starts, then it comes to the lab notebook. Where is the lab notebook? What is recorded there? So therefore, these kinds of training should be included now in the lab, and it should be passed on to the students, so they know what is the importance of recording every data in a very sincere and correct manner, so that if something arises tomorrow, it should stand to the court of law. So all these things comes under good laboratory practices, and I am sure that they will be taken during the deliberations or in the consequent programs. All these things will be taken. With these small words, I'm really thankful to Dr. Bimal Rao, and of course all the organizers of the college who I know that organizing any such meetings require a couple of faculty members or the students in the background who has to work day and night to bring this day So I'm really very thankful to all those faculty members or students who has helped Professor Bimal to bring this function at this stage, and all those resource persons, I will not them again. Professor Bimal has already named them. I thank them, and I welcome all the participants again, and I wish all the success to this 1 week faculty development program on such an important topic. So with this, I pass the mic to the organizer.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for your blessings and kind words. And they are like summarizing, I think, the entire FDP gist, and that's where we have tried to evolve. You mentioned about the case studies. Yes, the Bhopal case studies, but rather we will be also focusing on small accidents which happen inside our lab and how as teachers we can improve upon. You also talked about the processes which we have to change in terms of conducting the same experiments which are in the ambit of the curriculum. You have that authority, will request that you change the curriculum, but then till whatever curriculum we have, I think we'll have to look at the greener and safer practice. And rightly said, greener and safer in chemistry lab, they go hand in hand. They are not separable. They are definitely inseparable. Atom economy, you mentioned about, especially the acetic anhydride, the acetylation, how we do. The good practices, do's and don'ts, definitely will be focusing all of them. And then maintenance of record. One, although we'll be taking a detailed session, but it's a practice that sample is put up on the notebook. Come on. Once it goes into Kabadiwalas, what happened in Cobalt 60, that was an extreme case, but the small chemicals also, ultimately our animals, cows and etc., they will be eating. These, they don't know what they are eating, and ultimately these books cannot be even reused for making anything else. Can we not collect them and give it to our school colleagues who are deprived of resources? I was astonished to know 90 paisa per student is the grant in a government school in one of our states. So 36 rupee in entire year, and that has to be distributed between chemistry, biology and physics. I think this chemistry group has to really seriously think around these. So sir, wonderful having your words of wisdom around this. I think it has really set the tone, and we have more things to come. I am sure all those who are watching on YouTube have not yet registered. Come on, what are you waiting for? We together can make a change happen in each and every institution. Sulfuric acid, we will be talking about. Yes, we can stop using sulfuric acid for melting point and boiling point, or we can minimize, and we will be sharing all these. H2S, how we can have some better practices. So some small initiatives I have taken, and we will be happy that we will be, once we are through with this program, we will be sharing the report of this program to you for your further improvement and guidance. So thank you so much, sir, for being with us. In spite of your busy schedule, you have taken time and accepted our invitation. So now I move further, and let me call another stalwart working for teachers development, I will say. Sir, really, truly honored to have you amongst us, Professor Brijesh Parekh, President, Association of Chemistry Teachers, and who better than, I think, you. We are really looking forward to collaboration with you in this program, where we can take it to masses. Unless or until every classroom, every higher education, school education system improves in terms of these safer and the greener practices in our chemistry lab, and through that actually we are making responsible citizens who at the time of some accident, like many have happened, the Bhopal gas, the chlorine spills keep on happening at so many, the India Gate tragedy which happened, so many things which I think as science students, not just doing the rote learning of theory and formulas and getting 90%, and then if you say that, okay, this is the accident happened, can you do some disaster management? Then they say, no, I don't know what has to be done. So we have to be taking this in that direction, and our chemistry lab are the places where we can really nurture this and improve the entire society through this very small, humble, but a very serious effort. So now I am looking forward to words of wisdom from Professor Brajesh Parekh, President, Association of Chemistry Teachers India, Professor at Department of Chemistry, Madhav Science, PG College, Ujjain. We had the privilege of conducting one collaborative program with you and many events, sir. And he really is doing advocacy on the green and sustainable chemistry. So we'll like to hear from you, sir, from this expert area. So over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Vimal. I'm audible, huh? It's fine? Yeah. So first and foremost, Professor A.K. Bakshi, I always call him a living legend. How much he has contributed to science, I mean, chemistry in particular and science in general, that many just cannot think about. I'm audible?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So, yeah. So, sir, regards to you, Professor Ashok Prasad. I've just heard him, another stalwart, Professor Vimal. I mean, a fountain of energy, I was thinking about Professor Vimal, that how after every time, they conceive one idea, and just to try to execute that wonderful idea that on such a wide and level, that's really required a lot of energy, a lot of interest, and dedication and devotion for the work. So that's why, that looks on her face, every time looking very, very pleasant and very satisfied. So I congratulate you, all of you, I mean, for organizing such a wonderful program and just thinking of it, because I'm just looking at, the other places like in the US, and some of the things are going on, they are working on to generate the resources for these kind of things. And I would say this is the first of its kind, this program, Dr. Vimal, you have taken, people are just thinking about how to green out the greening of the laboratory. And that is to, from the school level to undergraduate and then to postgraduate and then research. I was just reading, Dr. Emmy Cannon, she is probably the first PhD on green chemistry from University of Massachusetts, Boston. And she's working with one of a program, the Beyond Benign. I was talking to Dr. Vimal about it, and I mean, people are now working slowly, how to generate the resources, therefore, and with that, with that resource, the facilitators at the K-12 level or at undergraduate level, so they can popularize green chemistry. That is what is required. Although, it has already been into 30 years, the green chemistry. Professor Bakshi, you might be just knowing everything about it, but still, it has not come down to the teaching level at school level and undergraduate level. I mean, very small part of a syllabus, contains about the green chemistry, and that ends with the 12 principles of that. But the thing, all those things have to be brought into the practice. That is what is required, and the onus is on, like Professor Vimal and Professor Bakshi and others, those who are initiators for all new things, so they can do that. And one more thing, Professor Vimal, I assure that this is a wonderful program that the hand-holding program, the mentorship program, and definitely Association of Chemistry Teachers with all its 6 zones. We will definitely take up this program, and we will try to take it to across India along with you. Now, at this occasion, when it looks as a good number of the faculty members or the facilitators and teachers from K-12 are also there, so I would just suggest them that really chemistry is safe only when it is green. And it is possible, I mean, not only we are talking about the 12 principles of chemistry, the green chemistry. I'm not going into the details of that. Probably everybody knows about it. What are the 12 principles? But we have to bring them into practice in the laboratory, and that is possible. Like, some of the things I will just talk about, just 2 minutes. I will not take much time. One is, the prevention. Green, one of the 12 principles of green chemistry says that prevention of waste. Instead of, like creating a waste, as in the environmental chemistry concept, first create as much of waste as possible, and then you look for the methods of treatment of those wastes, either in the water or air kind of things. But the green chemistry says prevent waste instead of, cleaning it up. So that is possible, and in the laboratory, we can switch to the micro scale kind of things. This is happening, I mean, to in various parts of India, micro scale chemistry, but we need to popularize it. That is possible. And with that, you can give all kinds of excitement to your students in the laboratory, and at the same time, with all the precision of chemistry. So that is one of the things. Regarding the solvents also, we have to think about the kind of solvents being used in the laboratory. And we understand, that water is the universal solvent, and the green chemistry says, like these days, like the ionic liquids have also come into practice, but that is at the research level only. But the school and undergraduate level, it is possible that we can have solvents. There is a small, possible we can replace, like, suppose you are working with the chlorinated solvents. So instead of that, we can take ethyl acetate, or we can take acetone. Instead of diethyl ether, we can have hexane. The mercury thermometer can also be replaced by the alcohol thermometer. Instead of methanol, we can take ethanol. First we need to educate our teachers at that level that there is a need of this replacement of these kind of chemicals. And by doing that, the laboratory experiments and the whole laboratory can be made safe and less hazardous. So these are some of the things. Then I just tell you, even the chemicals, usually we are using nitrates, lot of nitrate and sodium nitrate we are using. So instead of sodium nitrate, if sodium chloride is used, so you get the same kind of results. But the things becomes quite safe, because nitrates already have a lot of hazards in that. So you can avoid the hazards and you can have a very safer, like in calcium nitrate, ammonium nitrate, you can have calcium chloride, you can have ammonium chloride. Instead of chloroform, you can use ethyl acetate. Instead of cobalt nitrate, you can just, Dr. Vimal was talking about it, instead of cobalt nitrate, we can use cobalt chloride. So lithium nitrate, we can have lithium chloride. So these are the things, some of the things. And I hope, like the catalyst, we in chemistry, we talk of the catalyst, so now the time has come, the enzymes now, a lot of enzymes are coming for replacing the metal catalyst. So in one of my class, I was talking to my student, that why we use catalyst. So he says, that by that we can reduce the time of completion of the reaction. I says, okay. I said, okay, suppose we have, we want to make it fast. Okay, it's fine. Then, he was unable to judge that the purpose of using a catalyst is not only to reduce the time, but to save the energy also. Because so that is what, that is what is required to be conveyed to our teachers. And that is possible, that even when it is green, then the lab is safe. So once again, I congratulate you all. This is a wonderful initiative. And I hope, all the resource persons will definitely enlighten our all teachers. And I think this is just the beginning. And we will have many more such events, and everything will grow and evolve. And definitely it will grow into a movement. I congratulate you all, the organizers. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, and hope to have this collaboration with ACT for all such programs. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your support of ACT in 6 zones. Really, it will be so much thankful on your part that we can take this idea to the grassroots level. And I really liked your term when you say that chemistry is safe only when it is green. I think this is what we have to imbibe in our all practices. And you highlighted on prevention of waste rather than cleaning later on. So we'll have to look each of these in this perspective. Micro scale chemistry you mentioned, and I think in inorganic chemistry we are already having the micro kits, but how much they are getting utilized or not. And we will be sharing in our program about some spot testing, and especially when we go to class 11th and 12th level, where there is even a limitation in terms of resources. So these spot testing, both in organic functional group detection as well as cation and anion analysis, there will be proper emphasis on. And now as the technology is innovating, we are having so many thermometers also in our homes. We are using digital thermometers. Come on, why we have to keep on having those type of place where only the mercury part is, and if it breaks, and we know the hazards. And when you mentioned about, yes, the enzymes, and that's where I think chemistry colleagues can work actively with our bio colleagues also. And sustainable chemistry, I think, is very important. And who better than talking about the sustainability when we are talking on safer and greener approach. And that is what I am going to now invite Professor Bakshi for, who is Vice Chancellor PDM University, Bahadurgarh, Chairman at our both the centers, GAD-TLC, as well as National Resource Center of Chemistry, sir. He will be giving us a very motivating and enlightening keynote address on safer and greener chemistry lab, a step towards sustainable development. So let us be more aware about this, because that's where ultimately this phase 1 and phase 2 will be making a serious effort, not only at the national level, but at the global level. So it has been designed not at a micro level, but at the macro level as well. And for giving us that macro picture, and also, sir, thank you so much, Professor Bakshi, sir, for designing this entire concept of safer and greener chemistry lab. I recall, I think you were the first one to introduce the green chemistry paper in University of Delhi. So I welcome you once again, and please, we are all eagerly waiting to listen to your keynote address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Professor Vimal, for your very kind words of introduction. As a matter of fact, I'm really not an expert in all these fields, but whatsoever ideas or whatsoever thoughts are in my mind, I would like to share all that with my all colleagues present here today. Esteemed Professor Ashok K. Prasad ji, Dean Faculty of Science and Head Department of Chemistry, Professor Brajesh Pare, President Association of Chemistry Teachers, India, Professor Vimal, Professor Sarita, members of the organizing team, and last but not the least, dear participants from all over the country. It's indeed a great honor and a privilege to have this opportunity to deliver this keynote address. And I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. First of all, I would like to compliment Professor Vimal for conceiving this idea, because she thought of this topic and then talked to me about 3 months back. And then, we have been working on this, and then who should be the resource persons, who all people will speak. There is a lot of work. It may look to be a program of 1 week, but months sometimes are spent planning and preparing the things. So I would like to congratulate Vimal for this great initiative. And that is also reflected in the fact that the response of the participants has been tremendous. So many people have joined to this interesting faculty development program. And now coming to my talk, I think already Professor Prasad and Professor Pare has already set the ball rolling. While I was preparing for this talk, I really had to spend time as to from where to start and where to end. But then I thought, let me do it the way I normally do. And that's now what I'm going to do. Let me share my screen, please. So you can see, this is the title of my talk, Safer and Greener Chemistry Labs, a Step Towards Sustainable Development. If you look at the title, we talk of safer labs, then green chemistry or greener chemistry labs, and then sustainable development. As a matter of fact, all these things are linked. And how these things are linked, I would like to present my thoughts on that. So, in this talk, the concept map of this talk is as it is shown here. I will talk first about sustainable development. What do we mean? Then United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which continue to remain a global mission. After that, I will come to chemistry, because we are all from chemistry and allied disciplines. How chemistry can play a role in achieving these sustainable development goals. And then I will come to greener chemistry labs, which is the need of the hour. And then in continuation, I will come to lab safety, how to achieve it. And then another important topic is waste management in labs, how to deal with that. And finally, we will conclude this talk. So I always present my talk with a concept note, which explains how the thinking has been while developing this talk. So this is the thinking, this is the whole process along which I will be moving. It may look elementary to many people, but then there may be quite a few who may not be aware of all these things. So I'm sure it is going to be beneficial for all. So I first come to the point, sustainable development and sustainable development goals. You know, the whole thing can be summarized in what Mahatma Gandhi once said. One must care about the world one will not see. So that summarizes everything about sustainable development. And you know, on 22nd April every year, we celebrate Happy Earth Day. And it has only one mission, and that is to protect and hand on the planet to the next generation. So the two things are quite linked, and they reinforce each other. Now coming to very basics, what is sustainable development? See, sustainable means something which can be maintained for a long period of time for future generations. Development means the progress of economic development for current generation. So you develop current generation, but take care of future generation. So that is basically the whole thing in sustainable development. Now the question comes, you may be thinking as to why there is so much concern about sustainable development. All over the world, people are talking about it. There are many reasons, but here are these 5 main reasons. One is the population explosion. In 1950s, the population was just 2.7 billion, which now has come close to 7.8 billion. And by 2050, it is expected to reach 9.7 billion. So this is one big problem which we are going to face, because all this growing population need energy, food, water, power, everything. So one has to be worried about that. Second challenge is the fast depletion of resources. As population is growing, resources are getting depleted. This includes food, minerals, and other natural resources. So how to protect them. Another thing is, which is going to be very serious, is water scarcity. All over the world, it is going to be a big problem. FAO has reported that by 2025, 1.8 billion people all over the world will be facing acute water scarcity. So this is another problem which is going to be there. Then the problem of environmental degradation. We all know that environmental degradation has adversely affected our lives. So it is going to be a big problem. There are many sources of this degradation, but environment is getting degraded, there is no doubt. And the next is climate change, which is occurring. Rising sea levels. You see, there is an increase in atmospheric temperature. You must all be watching news. You must have seen how heat wave has swept across entire Europe. Britain and Spain, they are having, temperatures almost 40 years, 40 degrees centigrade, which they would have never thought. So all these are the problems which really are a matter of concern. And that is the reason why there is a concern for sustainable development. So when there were so many problems, United Nations came on the scene. And in 2015, all the nations of the United Nations gave 17 sustainable development goals. But they could not give any roadmap for achieving them. However, they said that these should be achieved by 2030. That is why it is called Agenda 2030. Why no roadmap was given? Because no roadmap is possible. World is full of diversity, and the nature of problem varies from region to region. So you cannot give a solution which is valid for all over the world. But please remember, these 17 sustainable development goals, which were finalized after considerable deliberations, they have the potential to significantly improve the quality of life and increase the well-being. So they said that we should be able to achieve this Agenda 2030 in the next 15 years, because all this decision was taken in 2015. And this Agenda 2030 has 17 goals. Each goal has targets. And then targets have further indicators, how you will come to know whether the goals have been achieved or not. So these 17 sustainable development goals address the global challenges which the humanity faces, including poverty, inequality, climate change, etc. And please remember, in 2015, 193 countries, including India, signed this Agenda 2030. And so we are committed to honor it, to accomplish it. And these are all considered to be a roadmap to humanity. Now, coming further, this sustainable development has 3 pillars. One is the social development. Second is economic growth or economic development. And the third is environmental protection. These are the 3 pillars of sustainable development. They are interdependent. You cannot address one without changing the other. So they are interdependent and mutually reinforcing. And I have shown here the 3 pillars of sustainable development: balanced economic growth, environmental protection, and social well-being. And in other language, We also call it profits, planet, and people, 3 Ps. And some people call it 3 Es. That means economy, equity, and ecology. But they cover the entire sustainable development. You know, a lot of thinking has gone. Top experts of the world have developed all these. So 3 Ps or 3 Es, they are ultimately the pillars of sustainable development. And if you look at the 17 goals, they can also be divided into 3 categories. One is talking about economic pillar, another is environmental pillar, and third is the social pillar. Look at this, social pillar includes quality education, gender equality, etc. So all these. They are not mutually exclusive. They are dependent on each other. Now coming further, one of the sustainable development goals is quality education. That means the entire world needs to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. This is considered to be a very, very important goal. You know, the research has shown that education is central to social change. If you want to bring about a social change in a society, it can only be done through education. And that is why this quality education has been given due importance. And let me tell you, if we are all from education, our new education policy 2020, if you closely examine it, it is aligned with the Sustainable Development Goal 4. It aims at providing equitable education. It aims at providing quality education. It aims at providing lifelong learning opportunities. Now, whatsoever we are going to do, even in the new education policy, we say gross enrollment ratio should become 50% by 2035. So this is also a step in that direction. So behind all this is our commitment in the United Nations to Agenda 2030, that all this is being done. And quality education in the 21st century, as the world now looks at, consists of 3 things. You know, when we were students, everybody talked only about knowledge. Disciplinary knowledge, interdisciplinary knowledge, or practical knowledge. During our times, we hardly could talk about skills, or so much emphasis was not given about skills. Now we talk about 21st century skills. And the third is personality. You know, there is a report that 87% of the people fail in life, not because of capability, but because of their personality. They don't know how to deal with the people. So these 3 things taken together constitute quality education, and they equip an individual to thrive and succeed in the modern world. These are the 21st century skills. These are going to be the deciding factor in this information age, which include learning skills, literacy skills, and life skills. You know, it is now said, you know, we are all teachers, we should be aware of this. If a student has these skills, he or she can outsmart anyone. Because in this world of automation and robotics, these skills are going to play a very important role. Because you cannot have machines with critical thinking. You can't have a machine which is creative. You can't have a machine with the leadership quality. So all those individuals who have these skills, they will be able to outsmart others. They will be able to, you know, come up in their profession. And even in this program, we are talking about internships. one important aspect of this internship is to foster these skills. Students will, when they will, student internship would be there, they will be thinking, they will collaborate, there will be leadership quality, there will be presentation skills, communication, all those things are there. So this program is also serving the dual purpose. And then teachers will be acting as mentors, because teacher is normally one who imparts knowledge. In a classroom, you don't call him a mentor. Mentor is basically an experienced person who acts merely as an advisor to another individual. Okay, please do that. Guide them, facilitate their learning. That's basically what a mentor does. So here, the roles of the teachers are also going to change little bit from their routine job to mentorship. And one more thing which I would like to say, all over the world, you must be saying now, government also talks. We should have competency-based education and assessment. And competency comes out of these three things: knowledge, skills, and personality. But that is what quality education is. So these three things taken together determine the competence of an individual. So we should, in our education, not only focus on knowledge, but also on skills and personality development. And not only teach them these things, we should also test them these things. We still test only knowledge. We do not test skills. We do not test personality aspect. That is why, there is a lopsided development in our individuals. So that is the meaning behind competency. And this all comes under sustainable development goal. That is the point which I wanted to say. You have to read between the lines. Now, in this quality education sustainable development goal, there are 10 targets also. Quality primary educations. And one important target is, as you can see at 4.7, that is the sustainable development. You should also educate people for sustainable development. Education for sustainable development means you empower people for creating and enjoying sustainable future. This is something very important. Let the people assume responsibility for creating and enjoying a sustainable future. And once this education for sustainable development is there, all goals can be achieved. This is the feeling. It is a key enabler to all the goals. And please remember, sustainable development requires human ingenuity. You need genius people. And people are the most important resource. But quality education can foster this ingenuity. And then it can help in sustainable development. Just one more thing which I would like to say. Before these sustainable development goals came in 2015, there were earlier Millennium Development Goals also, which were given in the year 2000. And they were to be achieved by 2015. And in achieving them also, these are the 8 Millennium Development Goals. Education played a very important role. That is why, all over the world, there is a focus on education. And now this summarizes everything. Millennium Development Goals gave rise to Agenda 2030, that is the Sustainable Development Goals. They were from 2000 to 2015. These are from 2015 to 2030. These have to be achieved. So this is what I wanted to say about sustainable development. Now the question come to India. What is the India's performance on sustainable development goals front? That could be the next question. Please remember, our performance is far from satisfactory. This is the recent report, Environmental Performance Index. This is an international ranking system which measures environmental health and sustainability of nations. In this ranking, India is at 180th position, almost the lowest one. So it's a matter of worry. We have been talking about environmental protection, but see where we have landed. And India ranks 180. This is the report of 2022. This year report has come. So there is a serious concern. Then there is another Sustainable Development Report, which also came, I think about 1 week back. I was reading it. Here India ranks 121. Last year it was at 120th position. Now it has slipped further to 121. So you can very well imagine we are not able to achieve anything so far very significantly. So one really need to do introspection as to where the problem lies. That is why, recently you see that single-use plastic has been banned. This is a step only in that direction. We have to take care of environment. And there are so many reasons to ban this. One is that these plastics are made from fossil fuels. So there will be a depletion. Then huge carbon footprint. Carbon footprint means total amount of, gases, all that, greenhouse gases, etc. Then plastics remain for hundreds of years. Then only a tiny percentage is recycled. Then these leach into food and drink, and then they cause hormone disruption and cancers, and so many other factors. So this is just one step which we have taken, but still you see people continue to use still plastics. So I think one has to really think about that. And even you look at these, many of the government policies and the programs such as Swachh Bharat Mission, Beti Bachao, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Gram Jyoti Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwal Yojana, they in some way are contributing to India's progress in this regard. They are aligned with those sustainable development goals. Even the concept of smart cities, because in one of the sustainable development goals is sustainable cities. So that's our concept of smart cities. Even the National Health Policy of 2017, that's also aligned with the sustainable development goals. So this is, I wanted to tell you what are these sustainable development goals, what are the challenges of the sustainable development, etc. Now I come to the second part. If we are all here as a chemistry people, now the question is, as chemists, what can we do in this sustainable development? One is the general education. That is for masses. So you don't need to be always chemist. But as a chemist, what can be the role of chemistry in sustainable development? Chemistry is a fascinating field of study. And it impacts all facets of our life. There is hardly any sphere of human activity which has remained untouched by chemistry. And it connects most of other sciences. It is rather a central science. You see, physics, mathematics, biology, nanotechnology, environmental, geology, material science, heart is chemistry. And importance of chemistry in our day-to-day life hardly needs any mention. You are all senior professors, so you all know that everywhere, food, cleaners, energy, drugs, metals, health, remediation, textiles, everywhere chemistry comes. But one thing you should now know this, that the knowledge in chemistry is growing very fast. So fast that the doubling time of the growth of knowledge has shrunk considerably. There was a time when knowledge was getting doubled in 150 years. But now knowledge is getting doubled in almost 73 days. Please remember, what we know in our discipline is merely a drop. And what we do not know is an ocean. Look at the growth of chemistry knowledge. Chemist people produce new substances in the laboratory. There is an exponential growth in the number of substances. In 1800, we had some hundreds of chemical substances. Now it is increasing, and by the end of this century, this number is expected to reach 5 billion. Just imagine. In number of elements in the periodic table, they have increased from 63 to 118. Another indicator of the growth of knowledge. There is a growth of new and modern instruments. Then many new concepts, theories, and ideas are emerging on the chemistry scene. Sometimes I feel worried what sometimes we teach our students and where the world is, there is a big gap. But with this all growth, many new subdisciplines of chemistry have emerged. Chem informatics, combinatorial, green chemistry, supramolecular, etc. And the list is growing very, very fast. And because of advancements in chemical research, we all have benefited. The quality of life has been improved significantly. Look at the life expectancy in India. In 1950s, life expectancy was 35.21 years, which now in 2022 is 70.19 years, almost double. And in United States, it is 79.05 years. And chemistry has played a very important role in this. Everywhere chemistry is there. So now the question comes, how chemistry can help in achieving some sustainable development goals. As a matter of fact, please remember all sustainable development goals, all the 17 goals need input from science and technology to a varying degree for their accomplishment. Without science and technology, it will be impossible to achieve them. Now look at out of the 17 goals, these 7 goals are relevant to chemistry. I'm telling you because we are all from chemistry. These are the 7 goals which are relevant to chemistry. And here, chemistry can play a very important role. Here, chemical research can help a lot. Look at this, zero hunger. Now, what can you do as a chemist? You can devise ways to protect plants from pest infections. You can improve food production. You can develop new active packaging material to prevent food spoilage. So research is required. For good health and well-being, you can do research to understand how human health is impacted by diseases and hazardous chemicals in food, water, and even environment. So research can be focused on that. You can do medical diagnosis and drug development. You can provide new solutions for reducing pollution. So it has to be highly focused. Then for water purposes, you can see, as you can see here, you can upgrade infrastructure in chemical industries for advanced research. You can manufacture new innovative advanced materials. Then, encouraging chemical research to enhance innovation. Just a minute. I was here, water. So for water, you can develop new methods of water purification. You can have lower cost desalination processes. You can find new ways of removing heavy metals. And for affordable and clean energies, you can develop new material for renewable energy, advancing cleaner fuel technologies. So what I mean to say is, you have to go into the problem You find out what is the nature of the problem, and then the research should be directed to solving those problems. Now, responsible consumption, if you take, you can develop recycling materials. You can develop bio-based feedstocks. You can develop second generation biofuels and innovation in waste management. So everywhere chemical research can play an important role. And look at the latest climate. Here you can go into advancements in atmospheric chemistry to understand why this global change is occurring. You can develop advanced material for renewable energy. You can improve treatments for disease and high yielding seeds and fertilizers for increasing food production to combat climate change. So what I mean to say is these 7 sustainable development goals have their bearing on chemical research. Only thing is we need to shift our focus from our traditional research to these ideas. No, there was a very recently a paper in Nature. I think the date is 27th April 2022. It came in Nature. And the heading is chemistry education must change to help the planet. We will have to change our research so that we can help the planet. So what I mean to say is that chemistry education can play a very important role, because through chemistry education, you can tell future people where the research is required, so that they can, start globally competent and locally relevant research on sustainable development goals. We need to spread awareness about these challenges in sustainable development goals, especially those which are relevant to chemistry. So this is a big challenge. We still continue to teach the same way. We have not changed. And that's why the problem is. About India's system, it is said that science education in India needs to be redesigned. We have 21st century students, but the content which we sometimes teach is of the 19th century. The courses architecture is of the 19th century, and the method of teaching is of the 20th century. We have not changed with the changing times. We still follow the same talk and chalk method, which is a highly teacher-centric approach. We need to shift focus to learner-centric methods. So many of them have come, but we have not embraced them. This was my recent article along with Dr. Vinita Kapoor, which has just appeared this month in Science Reporter, where I have given a very big article on how to redesign science education in India. We need to overcome the crisis of creativity in India. There is a serious crisis of creativity. As I always sometimes say, no Indian scientist working in India has been able to get Nobel Prize after 1930 when C.V. Raman got it. Why? Why should it happen? Where are we faltering? We take the concept of science to be publishing papers. I came across this recent, video which very well explains what is science. Just 2-minute video. Please watch it.
What is science? People talk glibly about science. What is science? People coming out of a university with a master's degree or a PhD, you take them into the field and they literally don't believe anything unless there's a peer-reviewed paper. It's the only thing they accept. And you say to them, but let's observe, let's think, let's discuss. They don't do it. It's just, is it in a peer-reviewed paper or not? That's their view of science. I think it's pathetic. gone into universities as bright young people, they come out of them brain dead, not even knowing what science means. They think it means peer-reviewed papers, etc. No, that's academia. And if a paper is peer-reviewed, it means everybody thought the same, therefore they approved it. An unintended consequence is that when new knowledge emerges, new scientific insights, they can never, ever be peer-reviewed. So we're blocking all new advances in science that are big advances. If you look at the breakthroughs in science, almost always they don't come from the center of that profession. They come from the fringe. The finest candle makers in the world couldn't even think of electric lights. They don't come from within. They often come from outside the breaks. We're going to kill ourselves because of stupidity.
So I think you can very well understand how we will have to change our thinking. We will have to come out of our, comfort zone and change our mindset. And it's only because of this importance of sciences in sustainable development, especially of chemistry. United Nations has declared this year, 2022, as the International Year of Basic Sciences for Sustainable Development. Because these advancements in basic sciences basically means physics, chemistry, mathematics, and biology. They can play a very important role in achieving sustainable development. So there is a link. We need to focus on their teaching, on their research, as well as we need to invest in them. That is the message which I think this was also about 1 week back. And no, I think it's on 8th July that this international year was launched. Now I come to the third point. After chemistry, now let's come to greener chemistry labs. Already a lot has been said. And I feel, as Professor Brijesh Pare also said, that it is the need of the hour. Laboratories are, importance of laboratories, without laboratories, men of science are soldiers without arms. So laboratories have their own importance. So green chemistry, in a very brief, basically you are designing products and processes that reduce or eliminate the use of generation of hazardous substances. So that's basically very simple. Everybody knows that. And its father was Paul Anastas, who is the father of green chemistry. Please remember, green chemistry applies and should apply to the entire life cycle of a chemical product, including its design, manufacture, use, and ultimate disposal. We have to have our processes which are like natural processes. Please remember, natural processes are always green, whereas synthetic processes are often gray. So this is something we have to keep it in mind. So it is basically an approach. It's not a new chemistry, I would say. It's an approach to chemistry which aims at maximum efficiency and minimum hazardous effects. Then it aims at designing or improving materials, products, processes, and systems using innovative scientific solutions. Now look at this point. Innovative scientific solutions should come from you. Here we are lacking. We know what is green chemistry, but we are never able to come out with new solutions. And this is an approach which reduces the overall negative impact of chemical research. And as it has been said, there are 12 principles of green chemistry, everybody knows. But in green chemistry, we follow, as you can see on the right, green solvents, green catalysts, efficient processes, and environmentally benign products, and green and renewable raw materials. These are the basic approaches. And these are the 12 principles. I don't want to go into the details. Everybody knows that. And look at the top. Number 1 is prevent waste. You should manage waste, prevent it. Then atom economy. Atom economy means conversion efficiency should be as much as possible so that there is atomic economy. And others, they are well known. And these 12 principles of green chemistry were given by these two people, Anastas and Warner. They published their book. And for the first time, they gave this in 1998. But look at the fact, almost 25 years have passed. We know the principles, but how much we are able to come out with new solutions to the problem, there we are lacking. Here is a person, he is the former American Chemical Society president. His one remarks are very famous. Green chemistry represents the pillars that hold up our sustainable future. It is imperative to teach the value of green chemistry to tomorrow's chemists. This is understandable. But what he mentions is we need to think green culture. This is required. Green chemistry research projects, that is what is required. So for that, I remember when we introduced green chemistry, my thinking was that the role of the green chemistry education should be to teach students how to design drugs and agrochemicals, such as fertilizers, in ways that are both safe and sustainable. Or we equip the students with the knowledge, skills to design products that minimizes or eliminates harm. So that is still missing. We have not yet been able to understand fully the molecular basis of hazard. What makes a substance hazard? What is the structure property relationship? What type of structure will lead to hazardous substance? I think if we are able to understand that, that will solve many problems. We need to prepare future generations for that. We need to enhance creative thinking amongst our students along these lines. We should not ask them what are the 12 principles they will remember, and that doesn't serve the purpose. That is why we are lacking in those application part. Creative thinking is the need of the hour. And please remember, for creativity, you need three things: resources, motivation, and creative thinking. Creative thinking, what is creative thinking? Your capacity to think outside the box and put existing ideas together in a new combination. That means you should have the ability to connect previously unconnected thoughts. But that will be possible only if you have vast knowledge. Only then you will be able to connect them. If your knowledge is very old, all the dots have already been connected, so nothing much is left for you. That is why we need to modernize our curriculum. So resources is the second, your knowledge, expertise, and access to relevant information. And then the third is internal motivation. You need to be passionate. So these three things can help you in becoming creative. But we have not been able to do. You may have the motivation, but if you don't have the knowledge, the latest knowledge, you will not be able to achieve. That is why all the three things are important. And in education, three things are very important. What do you teach? How do you teach? And how do you assess the students? That is what is very, very important. Next comes, the fourth part is safer chemistry labs. I would move a little fast now. And, lab safety is some aspect which we all need to worry about. Lab safety is very important because without it, experimentation could result in serious accidents. That's the point. So to reduce the risks involved in the experimentation, there are certain guidelines which we all should follow. You know, the basic rule is if everybody takes the responsibility for their own safety, then collectively you will ensure everyone's safety. That's the best thing. Lab is a shared workplace. Students, teachers, lab staff, and cleaning staff all need to ensure it is tidy, clean, and well maintained. Do leave the lab cleaner than what you found it. That's the basic rule. So we need to develop a culture of lab safety and implement it. This is very much required. And in this regard, because I have also taught for many years at undergraduate level, I think the training is the most important aspect of lab safety. Your personal habits make a big difference. And there are certain safe practices. You know, I just note it down, but I think everybody knows that you should label all the chemicals, you should wear lab apron, no open-toed shoes, no dangling jewelry, no contact lenses, avoid eating and drinking in the labs, don't take food out of the lab refrigerator, tie your hair, safety shower, eye wash station should be there. All these are the requirements which we should have. There is nothing new which I am telling. Then you should treat all chemicals in the lab as toxic. So you will be very careful. No mouth pipetting, use rubber bulbs or electronic pipette pump. Then while using volatile or toxic chemicals, ensure you open and use them within a fume chamber. Then use safety glasses. In case of spills on skin, flush with water. Acid spills, apply baking soda. Base spills, vinegar or boric acid. And never pour chemicals down the sink unless told by the teacher. You know, there is a picture above you can see. Carol never wore her safety goggles. Now she doesn't need it. You can understand. Then, while instructed to smell, waft the smell towards you. Don't use chopped or cracked glassware. Use tongs or heat protective gloves for handling heated metals and glass. These are all safe practices. Everybody knows, but I have just collected them so that we should know that. As Professor Prasad was also mentioning, we should read material safety data sheet for each chemical. Use handling and for disposal, etc. At the end of your experiment, thoroughly wash your hands with soap and water. Then follow electric safety guidelines also. Avoid use of inflammable liquids, and then handle sensitive electronic circuits and electronic components with great care. Unplug electrical equipments after use. Unplug cards by pulling them and not the card. Learn the use of fire extinguishers. Fire extinguishers are in the lab, but people don't know how to use them. They throw the fire extinguishers on the fire. That's not the way. You should be familiar with lab safety symbols. First aid should be there in the kit, should be there in the lab. And one more point which I want to say is about waste management, and then I will come to the end. You know, this is also very important, and this is one of the principles of green chemistry also. Waste is any kind of unwanted or unusable material. So normally the sources in our life are households or commerce and industry. As a matter of fact, waste is being generated everywhere. Look at this. This is another waste and waste. And the types of the waste you all know are biodegradable or non-biodegradable. Biodegradable can be easily broken down by nature. So organic matter such as plant and animals, etc. come here. Non-biodegradable like plastics, etc. they cannot be easily broken down. So the types of the waste is ultimately these. And now a new type has come which is becoming very common is e-waste. Electronic waste, which is the result of technological advancement. Computers, electronic devices, monitors, cell phone, audio, video, televisions, all come under e-waste. They have also a problem because many of them contain hazardous substances like these americium, lead, mercury, sulfur, etc. and non-hazardous substances are present in them. And all these types of waste which I mentioned, they are also generated in our labs, but on a smaller scale. There is no doubt about that. So there is a need of waste management in order to protect the environment, in order to preserve human health, in order to minimize unsightly waste, and in order to reduce natural resources. You know, there is a very famous quote. There is no such thing as away. When we throw anything away, it must go somewhere. So you have to be careful. So there is a need of waste management. The best thing is you should learn how to do waste segregation at lab level. Paper separate, plastic waste, glassware waste, liquid waste, e-waste. So there should be a segregation. The best strategy is waste management processes. You know, the best is that you should prevent waste. That is the most favored option. You can see at the top. Or you minimize, that is reduce. Or you reuse. Or you recycle. Or energy recovery or disposal. So we are not able to do sometimes the prevention part because we lack the technical expertise and planning how to do that. So here needs scientific insight, how to prevent, how to minimize, how to reuse, how to recycle. If you can do, there is nothing like that. But this is the hierarchy in the waste management processes. Here your knowledge of chemistry can help you. Here chemical research can help you. So we need to spend time more on these things. Look at the disposal part also. You take waste, you collect it, you segregate it, you transport it, you treat it, and then you dispose it. That is how the disposal is done. And even recycling is very best example is paper. You get paper from trees. Look at the above one. Wood is debarked, then it is cut and pulped. You make a pulp, then you add water, then you have the wood pulp, and then chemicals are added to the pulp and it is filtered, and then the paper is then put on the rolls. So that is how you prepare the paper. But once the paper has been used, the waste paper can also be converted into the paper. That is given below, waste paper collection. Then you sort it by hand, then transport it, and then you can see here, clean it, de-ink it, paper making machine, and then you get the paper. So you get paper from trees and then you can do paper to paper recycling. So now you can see in all this science is involved. So we as chemists can contribute significantly if we apply knowledge in these natural processes or in these processes where recycling can be done. That's why, it said money grows on trees, recycle paper. And, in the labs, in our universities, colleges, I was thinking how to do it. There should be training should be for everybody, students, lab staff, cleaning staff, teachers. We should integrate lab safety and waste management guidelines into curriculum. And it should be made also a part of assessment so that students have these things on their tips. Every department should prepare a lab safety manual. I know many colleges, they have prepared lab safety manuals, soft as well as hard versions. Then you can also follow the best practices of other higher education institutions. Develop innovative processes, teachers to take lead. You can introduce award system. Then you can, even some institutions develop short lab safety videos on different aspects of lab safety. There can be a lab safety team for surprise inspection in each institution. I remember we prepared these posters on do's and don'ts when we were in IIIL, and even now at National Resource Center of Chemistry has prepared. Dr. Vimal will be talking about that on lab safety and waste management. In every lab, we can put them. What are the do's and don'ts? So all these things can help us. So let's all work together to make our labs a safer, greener, and happier place to work. Safety is as simple as ABC. Always be careful. And in conclusion, just 2 minutes, then I stop. So whatsoever I have told today, I started from sustainable development, then role of chemistry, then role of green chemistry, then lab safety, then waste management, and ultimately all are linked. If you closely examine them, they are all linked with each other. But the need at present in the country is the need of education for sustainable development. For Agenda 2030, only 8 years are left now. We are already in 2022. We are not in a very good position. We need to work hard. Already, this was a report which came, you can see it came on 8th July this month, that these 3 C's means Corona, climate, and crisis, they have already adversely affected the progress of Agenda 2030. They have pushed millions of people into extreme poverty. So they have taken us backwards. This was a recent report of United Nations report on Sustainable Development Goals, which came in 2022. This was released about 10 days back. So these 3 C's have already changed. So we have to take active role, in overcoming that. And in this, education can play a very important role. Please remember, Earth can support billions and billions of more people if people make sound choices around resources, production, and consumption. People have to take a decision. We need to think and act more responsibly towards our environment. Right information and education can change people's views and behaviors and encourage them to adopt sustainable development lifestyles. At present, there is a lack of awareness. Even amongst teachers, many may not be knowing what are these sustainable development goals. So what to talk of common man? Change of mindset is required. And this education for sustainable development can break the cycle of poverty, malnutrition, and disease that affects the world. Students especially need to be trained, making them more socially responsible, critical, and sensitive towards sustainability issues. Even our education system, teaching, learning, research need to be aligned with sustainable development goals. They should be part of curriculum. Just as in 2004, we introduced environmental studies paper, which was compulsory as per the direction of Supreme Court. We could have something about sustainable development. Although I think in environmental studies also there is something about sustainable development, but in the light of Agenda 2030, we could have one more paper so that everybody knows what is all this. Sustainable development for all countries is only possible through comprehensive cross-sector efforts that begin with education and awareness. That's the message. We will have to come out of our comfort zone. We will have to change our mindset. There is a very famous quote: birds born in a cage think flying is an illness. We have to change our mindset. Don't think that whatsoever we are doing, only that is the correct thing. We have to come out and change the thing. Only then we will be able to see the progress. So change of mindset can do wonders. That's all what I would say. Our future relies on human ingenuity. And this can come only, as I said earlier, through education. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you. And I have just shared a holistic and overview of how the things are connected and where we need to work and act. Thank you, Vimal, for giving me this opportunity, and thanks a lot and all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for making this a very macro picture at the global level, I will say. And this is really comprehensive, and how as chemists we have to be now working in these fronts. You rightly said that when we are introducing the papers, the environment paper in 2004 after Supreme Court ruling, and we also introduced now green chemistry long back. But again, it has been a ground level observation that these papers remain segregated and rote learning questions are asked, right? You mentioned that write short note on 12 principles or one of the principle in detail and so on. What is that type of assessment going to do? The so heavy syllabi where there is no scope of field work, and rather I will request Professor Ashok Prasad sir, please look from that perspective, that rather than the experiments all coming from university side, let there be flexibility from teachers' point of view. Let them do some group work activity where the students go in real, and because chemistry is everywhere. And when we are preparing ourselves towards sustainable development, rightly said that in every product life cycle, right from the manufacture till it is consumed by the customer and then thrown away in the garbage, we have to be looking. And when we say any product, I think leave vacuum, everywhere else is chemistry. So we are not just talking about what we are doing in the lab on micro scale production, but when these students, they go into different industries, that thinking we are sending across along with these students, that this change is required. So my humble appeal to all my colleagues who have joined here, those who have the autonomy coming from autonomous colleges, please look it in that light, that every chemistry experiment has to be seen from this light, not just left as a separate paper where we are not trying to integrate it. Environment, value education, everything as NEP 2020 is highlighting on, has to be integrated in each and every activity, and activity has to start, because right now the syllabus just ends. Yeah, we have finished the syllabus. So I think entire teaching learning processes have to be overhauled, and that is what we are in leadership of Professor Bakshi, we are working on the way technology can be used in the theoretical and the information sharing. Who has to remember 12 principles? I can just Google search, but I have to know how to apply it. I have to be trained around as a student in applying that. I think this is the change which we are trying to hit upon in all of you, and all of you, I think we will be doing collaborative learning in this FDP also. We are not experts, you all are experts, and every day the feedback will be having questionnaire where we'll be looking for your inputs. And Monday especially we have kept on 25th one session where we'll be identify some teachers from you who have done some work and have ideas to present that in front of us. That's why we have planned it in a way that it's not a one-way interaction happening like the way we used to tell in our other FDPs. It has to be interactive, it has to be collaborative learning. So in that sense, I think it is. And now I'll request Professor Sarita to please highlight more aspects and some of about Professor Bakshi's lecture, because that is giving us a quick start for a broader perspective. So over to you, Sarita. Sarita, you're there? I think, Sarita, you can.
Recording in progress.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, please. Yeah. Bye.
Yeah. Can you hear me? I would like to thank. I think there is some problem with my connection today. One minute. I would like to thank Professor Ashok Prasad for giving his valuable inputs. I really, when he talked of acetic anhydride and one molecule of acetic acid being left there, I really felt that these kind of things we should all think, and they can set the ball rolling in our mind, and we can really think of some innovative or some useful research starting from there itself. Like Vimal and I, we were discussing, and so many thoughts came up when we are actually involved in such kind of fruitful discussions. I would also like to thank our guest of honor, Professor Brijesh Pare. Sir, you talked of a lot of important things which we are going to actually highlight. You talked of micro scale, change in solvents, change in thermometer, and so on. So I think we are trying to bring forth some of these things during this FDP. And we would really like that Professor Ashok Prasad helps us in taking these things forward, because that is the use, that would be the biggest contribution from all of us in chemistry education if we are able to take a few things forward. I would like to thank Professor Bakshi, our keynote speaker, for again highlighting a lot of things. First and foremost, the difference between teachers and mentors, and how do we integrate the two. Also, sir, all the things that you highlighted about the reasons to refuse single-use plastics and growth of chemistry knowledge, means growth of chemicals, and so we need to actually think of various ways to cut them down. Lab safety, I think each and every slide that you said, we need to incorporate that in our curriculum to the core. I think first of all, we need to educate ourselves and then educate our students towards this. That is the need of the hour, I think. So starting from lab safety, I think we need to actually put everything in use in our chemistry labs. I would like to thank Professor Jaswinder Singh and the entire governing body of Khalsa College for giving this opportunity, the Ministry of Education for giving us this opportunity. I would also like to thank all the resource persons, Professor Arora, I can see right now, Dr. Sushmita, I could see, Dr. Hindu, I could see in between. So thank you all for joining us in this venture to take this green and safe labs forward. We all have been working on it for many years, but I think putting them together, the credit goes to Professor Vimal for putting these together and then trying to integrate it into a hand-holding kind of venture with the schools. I would like to mention how, when she called me up and she said, Sarita, kaam to bahut ho gaya, kuch social service karte hain. So let us take it down to schools. So that is how we were all not so convinced initially, sir. We were thinking how this would go, but she was determined that she has to take this forward. So our really hope is that we are actually able to take this forward to that level, that we are able to make some difference to the safety and the greening of the chemistry labs. So I really hope that. For this, I would also like to thank the entire organizing team of GAD-TLC for helping us and taking this all forward. I would also like to thank the backend team for helping us in all the kind of assistance that we need at any point of time. So thank you. And last but not the least, I would like to thank all the participants. And without your cooperation, I don't think this venture can be taken forward, because we need the help of all the participants to actually try and imbibe this in their own labs, and that is how, and then take it forward by motivating others to do this. So I think that is the purpose of this FDP, and I hope with the help of all of us, we should be able to make some difference to our environment. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sarita. And I think I should thank you also for being very active with me. And let me add that we have specially recorded some videos also on how the change can be, because rather than just showing slide, we thought that yes, we will record them and show them. So this FDP is going to be really treat in that way, because through technology, when we are going towards phase 2, we want that in LMS, we'll be using My Class, where all the videos, the support material that you have to take it to the school level is also given, so that there is no dilution or in terms of missing out something, or maybe if it is getting repeated, then you don't have to worry about that part. You can take that particular video with you and take this information to next level, which is our school education. Rather, it is very important, because when these students coming to higher education, the type of training they are having in their school lab can also be a change maker automatically after many years, because they will be coming with the safe practices, with the greener approach. Definitely, they will rather ask the teachers in higher education, why not this way, why not? So I think that is where we will have more interactive and healthy interactions. So with that humble note, I think a small beginning we have tried to make, but this is not just possible without each one of you. So I first of all thank each one of the participants to begin with for having trust in our team, in having confidence in the GAD-TLC brand, that yes, we mean sincerity in whatever programs we are coming up. And I'm happy to share the statistics that many teachers in the last 2 years have done more than 18 to 20 programs with us. They are not there for promotion requirements, but for the change. And that's why the theme we try to see is actually the change we want to bring in the education system. That is one difference, I will say, which is in the GAD-TLC team. And for the team, yes, thanks to Professor Bakshi, mentorship of Professor Ved Prakash sir now, and also my entire governing body at Khalsa College, and obviously Ministry of Education for giving us this big opportunity as a center in our college, that yes, we are able to take all these ideas as a group. And this is just not, this is for all of you. So all of us will be participating and taking it ahead. And I'm thankful to all the resource persons, especially Aroda sir, I can see. Thank you, sir, for joining. And we'll request all the resource person also to be with us in all these deliveries, so that we can modify as per the inputs coming from all of you. So as of now, we close the so-called inaugural, but we are here till 7. And let me tell you that today, how we are going to, Sarita, if you want to add anything, or I should.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I would really like that all the participants be active throughout and give us valuable feedbacks on whatever sessions we attend, if they have any inputs to give on, because from tomorrow we are going to have sessions where we are going to give them different methods and methodologies. So therefore they should be active enough and give their inputs in the feedback form if they have something to add to that, or something similar, or some innovation that they have done, so that can also be added onto whatever we are doing. That is what I want, that they should be careful and attentive and give their inputs.
So on that note, let me show today's feedback form. So there are routine things that we have, but then for this particular first day, we have added some additional question, which I will like to add for number, names and all. We will like to know your specialization, and those maybe there are some allied disciplines, then you can add up other as well. Institution name. Did the keynote session, because today we had only the keynote session, so did it deliver the information you expected to receive? Was the subject matter presented well? So these are the routine questions. Now I'll come to this very important thing. What is your takeaway from today's session? So this becomes a compulsory field. One more input we'll like to have from this rich pool of experts in chemistry and all students of chemistry. a lifelong learner. Have you performed determination of melting point experiment in lab? If yes, do you use sulfuric acid? You have to give yes, no, or not applicable. Have you published any research article in the theme or any article or paper? Let me even read the article / paper in the theme of this FDP for improvement at UG or school level. If yes, provide its reference and abstract there. And what improvements can you suggest in your institution, which you're having right now in mind, because we will be having one assignment around this only. So we are looking for pointers coming from you so that it is even our assignment can be made more meaningful, looking from what all thoughts you have in mind. So this is going to be a co-learning, as well as I think we will be co-creating what all has to be transacted, looking at our requirement, because all of us are coming from diverse backgrounds. We are in different states. The funding norms, some may be from private university, some may be from state, central, college, university, the type of infrastructure we are having in the labs, the type of resources in terms of grants that we are having, or in terms of positioning, how it is happening. And even from students' perspective, if you get some idea that what are the difficulties as teachers you are facing in the experiment portion of chemistry. So we will be looking around that. And we have half an hour today. Here I will now go interactive with all of you. Please, those you all are requested to put your videos on. We are not going to have one-way session. We are going to be interactive. And my team, Sarita and others, please keep on writing the important points which will be coming, and we'll see that how it can be made into a more meaningful program. So we are here to listen to you. Please, one by one, and my team, you can have the provision where all can unmute and they can then raise hands and we can take you overboard. Please. And especially from school education system, some teachers who have joined will try to listen to that also, so that collectively we can find solutions. Yes, please. Who will start? May I please request for Viniti Gupta, please? Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yeah, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, thank you so much. And it's so nice to be here on the FDP. Again, it was a pleasure to hear Dr. Bakshi. Yes, I do have a few suggestions coming, because I teach in a college where we have very limited resources. We have a huge number of students. We are catering to about nearly 200 students in a batch, but we have only one chemistry lab which caters to about 75 students. So we are having a chemistry lab running from morning 9 o'clock till 4 o'clock in the evening. Now, with such a backdrop and with limited resources, we have presently no lab assistant, because the institution has sent a request to the commission, but yes, none has been appointed. We are 3 teachers catering to 200 students in the Department of Chemistry. So, you know, considering all this, we have to carry on with the course, and we have to carry on with the lab experiments. Actually, ma'am, we had attended your chemistry FDP of about 4 months. Very, very informative. And after that, we have started introducing our students to, you know, the hazardous chemicals, symbols. We introduce them to the symbols. We show them the AR reagents of HCl and all. We show them the symbols, and we make them, you know, aware of how harmful the chemical they are using is. But now comes the part where we can make our environment green. So now the water which is, coming out from our labs, it is going into drains. Now we need, or it might be even going into the deeper aquifers, for all I know. Though we have made a temporary something, a sort of a pit. But yes, what you can say, I'm forgetting the name, but the water resource management or the pollution control boards, they have neither supplied us with the information or the knowledge to institutions which run chemistry, botany, zoology, home science labs, how to manage and recycle this water or maintain the water quality. I'm very sure that over a period of time, this is going to pollute our aquifers. But we have no ways because we actually don't have finances. Like on our end, if we want to do that, then the college doesn't have finances. All affiliated colleges have a severe financial crunch. So even though we would like to provide girls with goggles, gloves, what we are doing is we are getting all frames from all people who are not using specs. We are putting plain glasses and we are distributing them to our girls because we do not have the funds to purchase glasses. So we really want to implement what all things will be taught here, but we really need a direction from you, ma'am, how to, go about creating funds for all this. How to, because like I think you very well know that the chemistry departments or the lab have the highest budget in the college. Glassware, chemicals, the budget, the stock register maintenance is the maximum for a department of chemistry in any college. How to go about it? How to organize for these things? Because another thing which is very important is that we cannot ask girls to get these things. For them to just give their fees is a big problem. So, it's so nice attending all these things because we would also love our lab to be like this, but we do need your help and guidance how to go about it. We really would.
I think Viniti Gupta, ma'am, please, so much thanks. And first of all, please don't say that I am one amongst you, and we will be collectively trying to see that how these problems can be addressed, and that is what we focus. So,
yes.
So please, I first of all, I am not expert, and I'm not so.
No, but you start, Dr. Bakshi and you and so many others. You gave us that initial spark, from that symbol video of yours. And let me tell you, this is that video which we show to all our semester 1 students.
Thank you so much.
We show them at the first instant that this is something which you have to see. So that was the light we received from you, and we really would appreciate a lot of help and support and guidance how to go about it.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And these words, they give us to be more on toes and take this responsibility further. So whatever can be done by this group of expert teachers, we will do brainstorming, and I'll request my team to please keep on writing these very important points so that we try to see how we can find the solution. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Please, any more input? So I am really looking for problems coming from your labs. And last day, after the sessions we have on how we can actually work on these resources, trying to manage in the same, can we do some change? So we will be also introspecting on that, right?
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah.
Sure, ma'am.
Yes, please, who will be volunteering for next? Because we'll take some 3-4 right now till 7, and rest can then fill up the Google form giving more details.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, good evening, Dr. Ujjwala Patil. Please, yeah.
Yeah.
If you
ma'am,
can put your video on also.
Yes, I will try, ma'am.
Although we cannot meet, but at least we can see.
Yes, sure.
Yeah. Only obviously if you are in a
Yes,
particular
yes.
position where you can.
I'm
And I
I'm
request
trying,
all
ma'am.
my colleagues to be in comfortable position where you can put the video on. We are going to be very interactive these 7 days.
Meanwhile, my video will be on. I will start sharing.
Yeah, please,
Yeah. Ma'am, I have already done your two refresher courses. They have attended all sessions. And from that sessions, we get motivated. Our college, I'm from Ferguson College, Pune. And we have some soft skill courses. So we design one course based on waste management and lab safety for our TYBS students. Another thing is that we try to follow the chemical waste treatment. We try to segregate. We are arranging workshop to know the details about our students and our faculty. So my suggestion is that, like, for a waste effluent or effluent of chemical lab treatment requires huge funding. Like, we were planning to treat our effluent, right, from a lab. Our capacity of students are around 600, 700, including PG. So can we also know this, but can we design some process which we can do by our teachers only? Okay, by doing some kind of civil work managed by the college, and by treating, we should design some process that can be done by our teacher itself instead of taking some consultancy outside. So to design a plan, it requires more amount. Okay, to avoid this kind of funding, this is I think 8 lakhs, 10 lakhs. So if our teacher itself can design such process which can be easily managed by the college itself, department itself, then it will be the great help to all colleges, I think.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ujjwala, for putting this focus on the waste management issue. And we will be having a session from DRDO, and through some animation also, we will be telling you how a simple technique can be employed. But yes, more has to be done around. But yes, to make a beginning around all these, we will be looking into some solution possible collectively. So thank you for your input.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, who else will like to?
Excuse me, ma'am, could I speak?
Yeah, Dr. Juliet.
This is Juliet Miranda from Royal College. I'm from Mumbai University. And one problem which I would like to put before you all is, sometimes we have chemicals that, over a period of time stop giving us a test, or they get, thrown out of the syllabi, and, you have some packets left. I would like to know, apart from the ones that we can use for research or things like that, we sometimes are loaded with chemicals and we do not know how to dispose them or what to do with them. Because even passing them on to other departments has not helped. So could we look at ways as how do you go about chemical waste disposal? Because the municipality, putting it into the municipal waste doesn't help. So how do we go about an effective, eco-friendly chemical waste disposal?
Fine. Thank you, Juliet, for your inputs. And I will request others saying, let us not repeat the point so that we can have more inputs coming from your side. And what about our male colleagues here? This seems to be more of woman related. Please, all of you should participate and say.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah, Amita, please. Is it Amita saying? Amita Joshi?
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, please go ahead, Amita.
Ma'am, I am from a very small college which caters to the needs of the local rural areas.
Ma'am, first of all, no college is small. Our all institutions.
Yeah, ma'am, actually, we don't have the facility of waste disposal of the chemical bottles which are lying there for the last 10 or 12 years.
Okay.
So how to, they are empty bottles.
They are empty, bottles, but having some chemicals.
Yeah, a bit of chemical
must
be there, which can't be used now. And the second thing I want to ask that now we have started using zinc dust and sodium carbonate for organic analysis. So sodium metal is also lying there. So what to do with that? How? What can we do with that?
Okay. So sodium metal
in the lab, no? Because we are not using sodium metal for organic analysis. So what to do with that sodium metal?
Okay. So I'm noting down your points. We'll take it constructively. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm from, hello.
Yeah, I think let's take one by one. Kalyani started first, I think. Kalyani.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. I'm from Pune, SP College. I have faced always one problem. I am an inorganic chemist, and many times we do the ore analysis and alloy analysis. At that time, lot of films coming out, and it make really unpleasant environment and more polluted. What can we do for this? I need some solution.
Okay, let me write down. Any particular experiment you are referring to, or in general?
Yeah, in TY, BSc as well as MSc Part 1 also we do some ore analysis and alloy analysis.
Okay.
So in case, what can we do?
Fine. Kalyani, I will request you to be please more elaborate when you fill the feedback form today. Fine.
Okay.
So what are those experiments and what are the chemicals that you're using? Fine. So we'll see how it can be. Thank you for your input. I think I can request.
Good evening, ma'am.
Just hold on. We are having to Dheeraj sir. Please let's hold on. Yeah, I think there was one hand raised, and before that, someone started. I think I missed out the name. Please.
Dr. Vishali Meshram has been trying for a while.
Yeah. Dr. Vishali, please.
Thank you so much, madam. Good evening, Vimal madam. I have attended so many FDP, which is organized by you, and very nice FDP organized, very useful for us in our college also. My question is, madam, nowadays in NAC criteria, criteria 7 is related with the best practices. And in that best practices, every department you have to give your best practices. So being as a chemistry department, what type of expected best practices we had to give? And they are also expecting waste management, but waste management is a very big issue, and how can we minimize recycled, just like a benzene and so many solvents you can recycle, but the cost for that is very high, or the technology which is required for this is very costly. So in minimum cost, how can we recycle this some solvents like a benzene and some useful solvents? So my request, give some special method, and which can easily we can do at our laboratory, being as a chemistry teacher. And for the NAC point of view, when they visit our department, madam, as a NAC committee, as in chemistry department, so what type of they expecting from us? So I request, madam, please give some methods also. And in our college, we are publishing one magazine, madam, for chemistry students, and we are making to write some scientific articles which is based on the chemistry topics, so that students can also involve in this publications which is related with their laboratories. So is this a best practice article writings of chemistry or any other? Please give the suggestion.
Dr. Vishali, I will not comment on any of these questions today. I am now listening to all the problems. So I'm writing down. And yes, definitely we will take this into account. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
We may not be able to find solutions to everything, but yes, we will make an effort to whatever best as a group we can do.
So Dr. Vimal, I would like to answer a bit of this. So when she's talking about best practices, so a few things that we are going to talk about here in our FDP. in our own college, we had used them as best practices when we had our previous cycle of NAC. So I think a few of your questions will be answered while you're attending this FDP, and you can adopt that, and that is the purpose. You can adopt that in your college, and that is the purpose of this FDP. That whatever many of us have learned over the years, we want to transmit it to a much larger segment. And that is why this FDP. So I think it would be a contribution to chemistry, to society, if you are able to imbibe that and take it forward. So I'm sure you'll get a lot of your answers over here.
Yes, ma'am.
A lot of, but not all, definitely. But we will try, and that's why even in we designing, whatever best efforts we have done, but we again have limitations. You're all experts in your area, so we are taking those constructive inputs so that we will also design whatever possible and request the corresponding resource sponsors also on those fields if they can take these points also in account. Fine. Now let me request Ambuja. I think I could see the hand of Ambuja also. Ambuja.
Good evening, ma'am. Good
Hi,
evening.
Ambuja. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, ma'am, and thank you for giving one more opportunity to attend this wonderful FDP. Ma'am, I would like to tell you that we have small ETP plant which is maintained by chemistry department, and here we collect the wastewater from all the labs, that is zoology, botany, and chemistry as well, and where pH will be that will be balanced, and after that we treat it with that alum and polyelectrolytes and for the coagulation, and then it is agitated and it is sent to settling tank, and then followed by the activated charcoal treatment. But the thing is, since the water is coming from all the different labs, there is an admixture of different chemicals. So actual problem is, now this is a basic technique what we are using, but how to treat the chemicals which are already there in the water. Many a times what happens, we'll be using different chemicals, so it will be having mixture of different dyes, chemicals, everything will be mixed. So in that case, if we hire somebody from the industry, then it is a cost amount is huge, maintenance is huge. So in that case, at our level, what can be done so that we can take care of all these parameters which are there in the water?
Yeah, Ambuja, this is again a very valid point, but tell me, who are those experts from industry? Are they not coming out from our classrooms?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Think around. So if I think then we should be learning more from them and sharing with other colleagues also. Okay, so with that note, I move to next one. I think there was some more. We missed out Vinita and Tripti. Please help me, someone.
Gauri Singh and Madhuri have raised their hands.
Good evening, ma'am. Myself, Dheeraj.
Yeah, Dheeraj was missed out. Yes, please, Dheeraj. Yeah.
From Loyola Academy, Hyderabad.
Okay.
Hyderabad is known for the hub for pharma industry. So actually what we see in this Hyderabad means, as myself, as faculty in the law college, I see that as one of the ma'am was saying about usage of solvents, they have been dumped out after the experiment directly into the sink or drained out. So we are in that way we are polluting the environment. As we say, at my level, in the college level itself, we are dumping so much. So means just like for example, in the distribution experiment, in the physical chemistry practicals, what we do is just distribution. Simply we are doing the distribution experiment. Solute is being distributed in between the two solvents, and after the experiment, they have been dumped out every time, means they're drained out. So whether it is a process to separate and reuse, because suppose for example, iodine in cyclohexane, when you do, iodine is also a costly chemical, and even cyclohexane is solvent, which is also not good when you put into the sink. So whether there is any process to separate solute and solvents, and similarly, when you see such cases, not only in our college, so most of the colleges are following at the degree and PG level doing this experiment. And we see Hyderabad, so you can see how much of ground is polluted because of such experiments, so many solvents. And if you see in organic chemistry also, during the filtration process or doing any process, the cleaning process, we're using so many solvents. So setting up of ETP plants, whether it is small scale, not at the industry level, means you can guide how to plant. such plants. Yeah, ETP.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your inputs, Dr. Dheeraj.
Thank you, ma'am.
May I request now Gauri Singh? Gauri, you're there? Or maybe then we move to the next one, Madhuri Raghav.
Ma'am, I think Gauri Singh is not able to unmute. She has written it in the chat box. The disposal of unidentified chemicals or chemicals with lost labels should also be covered, weeding out of chemicals and chemical containers.
Fine. That's a very valid input. Yeah. Madhuri, please.
Yeah. Good evening, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible and visible perfectly.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. Among all the reputed teachers and professors, lecturers, I am one from the school. I am from Delhi Public School, Greater Faridabad.
Okay,
and
wow.
I have chemistry for last 20 years, ma'am. And when I go to the lab, I find that students are full of energy, so much excitement. When we, start with titration, especially like recently when we were struck with COVID, we were not able to allow them to, pipette, use the pipette. So we were giving them measured chemical that time. So we can think of solution, how to prevent that pipetting when we have to suck from the mouth. And also we were doing salt analysis, we have to do ring test for nitrate, we have to use lot of sulfuric acid. Can there be certain alternatives of using some environment friendly salts and still carrying out the analysis? So that these questions are haunting and I'm looking out for some good solutions from you, where I can introduce some very environment friendly salts to my students and yet carry out the complete analysis, salt analysis, some student friendly techniques, environment friendly techniques for pipetting out. And I'm really excited to be part of this whole venture, ma'am. And I have myself created one very good prototype to carry out some sort of waste management in my laboratory, which I would definitely like to share with you. And I would like to take you to my, virtually, I would like to take you to my school lab and share that prototype with you somewhere in the coming days. But right now I'm looking out for some very good solutions from your side. Thank you so much for this opportunity, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much, Madhuri, for your very valuable inputs coming from school education, because this program is also focusing on how we can collaborate with the school education, especially the 9th to 12th and more of 11th, 12th segment where chemicals are being used more. And your point on these titration pipettes and the mixture analysis, you don't have mixture analysis, I think salt analysis is only there. So that also we will try to address whatever best. And regarding this waste management, if you can write some 4 or 5 lines, definitely we'll see when we have a Monday interactive session, you can definitely present if that comes up. Fine. So thank you, Madhuri. Yeah, now I move to Viniti Gupta, please. I think you are done, ma'am. Your hand is raised. You want to come again? You'll have to unmute. Just see.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
It was this semester we are teaching acetyl salicylic acid preparation to students.
Okay.
Now for that we need acetyl chloride or we need acetic anhydride. Now both of them are licensed chemicals which we do not get and are harmful. Now in place of that, when I used acetic acid, I had to increase the quantity of acetic acid in order to make salicylic acid soluble. So in fact, in either ways, I had no option but to increase the chemical load in water. So if I get acetyl salicylic acid, acetyl chloride, or I get acetic anhydride, that is also toxic. And if I substitute it with acetic acid, then I increase the quantity of acetic acid to about nearly 3 times. So, ma'am, such experiments themselves in the lab are mandatory, but then how to counter that? It just struck me.
Yeah, that's another good addition, Viniti, you have done. And we have one session lined up on greener way to do acetylation.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, so let's look at that, and then I'm sure some of our problems are getting solved.
Thank you.
It's also giving us confidence. Yes, we are going in the right track.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, who else will like to?
Tanu Mahajan.
Tanu Mahajan. Yeah, may I request you? And yes, one or two more last questions, and then we'll wind up for the day. And tomorrow, let me, before you start leaving, we will be starting, Himanshi, 1 hour you require or half an hour for my class?
Ma'am, 1 hour will be required.
1 hour, Chirag. Okay, thank you. So you will have to log in from 3 p.m. because all these recorded videos today, YouTube, it is available. You can access it. YouTube link you share with the WhatsApp group, as well as you can share it to your friends because the registration are open till tomorrow noon. But after that, that is day 2, and further proceedings will be in a closed group, and we will be giving all the materials, not only these live sessions, but also some recorded videos in this theme, which will be compulsory to watch, and there will be quizzes assignment also around that, and that's how we will take it further. So tomorrow join at 3. The links will be provided to you, all of you, those who are. Tanu Mahajan, please, I will request you to, yeah. Yes, Tanu Mahajan. I think Dr. Madhubala, we will come to you slightly later. Please cooperate, because being a large group, it becomes difficult. So be one by one. Tanu Mahajan.
Yeah, so ma'am, I just want to answer the query of Madhuri ma'am from DPS. If they don't want to pipette out the solutions, because pipetting out of the solutions by mouth is not recommended now in the later stages, the better is to use microburettes. They are highly calibrated, and even we can pipette out the, normally we used to pipette out 10 ml or 20 ml of solutions, but using microburettes, which are highly calibrated one, we can give the alternate solution. This with what we are doing for our MSc students too in our college. We are using microburettes, which are calibrated up to level of 10 ml or 20 ml, whatsoever is required for pipetting out the solution. That's what I want to tell you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Tanu, for your this valuable input. Right. Any problem? Tanu, you're not facing any problem? Okay. Yes, maybe we can go to last question, and then we wind up for the day. Yes, Dr. M. I am sorry, I'm not able to pronounce your name. And I think one more Dr. Malaviji, I'm not able
Yes,
to.
ma'am.
Name.
Good evening, ma'am. This is Malaviji from GVG College, Udmalpet, Tamil Nadu, ma'am.
Please.
Very happy to be a part of this FDP, ma'am. And my question is, ma'am, it is very common to have the preparation, synthesis of organic compounds and complexes in our practicals. Though we give very small amount or in groups, that products, they remain. Years together, we are making the products, but how to use them, that part we want to know.
So you have stored them?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That's good. You have at least not thrown them. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Good, good, good. So we will be looking into, and in your feedback, please be precise. Can you list those chemicals?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
More constructive, and we give it to inorganic expert around this. If they can.
Okay, ma'am.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Sonika.
Yeah. Good evening, ma'am, and good evening to everyone. Ma'am, this is just a remark I want to add to the previous question where they were saying that pipetting problem with mouth. So just want to say that to the school teacher there, that we have a bulbs, just hand bulbs, very, very cheap ones, which you can keep in the lab and just put it on, suck it, and it will suck the liquid on its own. And there will be another valve to release or control the amount of the liquid. Or pro-pipeters with the very scaled one is also available in the in a very chemical vendor when they ask. So I just wanted to add to that madam's query. So it's not difficult, like if you don't want to touch the pipettes.
Thank you, Dr. Sonika. So I think we are having such bright participants, and my role is just going to be facilitator. That's how we have to be in the classroom. You have to start the discussion, and you have to tingle that mind that yes, around this let's start discussing, let's start introspecting, and the solutions will be there. And collectively, I think we will be able to do something positive in all our problems that we are having. And yes, there will be some impact which I can see with the type of solutions also pouring into. Fine, thank you. So with this note, I think let's stop for today's sessions and the exciting interactions we had with all of you. And I'll request all of you, please take time. It's not that feedback you have to just do a formality, but do complete it by 12 tonight, so that in the morning we will export that and try to analyze. We will put this into, that's why putting into different specialization, so that we will be breaking into groups at the back end and trying to see where all it can be addressed in our upcoming sessions. Or if not, then we will be together as a group searching for some solution. And if we go to some, maybe yes, a bigger problem also as a group, it will have a more impact rather than individuals going and approaching. So I am very sure with the type of first of all, the encouraging number of teachers who have joined in this FDP, and we are getting a wide spectrum of data, the problems at our national level. We may be not having in some institution, but there may be more problems in other institution. So that's how I think collectively we can be looking. And Chitra is also saying that we are using 2 burets for titration. I think that's an exciting session we are going to have with Professor Arora's session, where the titration part can be made. And really we have focused on the class 11, 12, that what all angles this can be, all these problems to a greater extent can be resolved. So with these words, so Sarita, you want to add anything? And then we close.
I think we've already given a lot of inputs, and we've got very good inputs from the participants. So I think we should have this kind of interaction almost daily, so that we add on to whatever we are wishing to transmit to everyone. So I think this is what we wanted to tell them, that to give their feedbacks. We'll be looking forward to that and keep on adding, and probably a lot of solutions will, when we're talking of problems, a lot of solutions are coming here itself. So that serves the aim of whatever we are trying to do.
Okay, and really I think this is the, who says the online learning can only be one way. So this is another in the way, because the same model, when we are face to face, it can be more reflective. So we'll try to employ some flipped classroom methodology, some others, one-way session as well from experts. And yes, we will be then trying to learn from each other. That is what is, and that's another way that this FDP is unique. So with these words, I request all of us, we will say goodbye to each other. Have a lovely evening ahead, and do fill the feedback. And we will be meeting tomorrow 3 p.m. My technical team will be taking you on board for my class enrollment, the LMS that we'll be using, where all the material will be available. And sharp at 4, we will be starting the technical session. So with these words, all of you, Bye-bye to all of you and see